I was in black doing some work, and that's when Captain Phillips came up. If you watch the movie or reading the books, they're the ones that save the day. But inside story is we were there. It was interesting because I had no idea how to hostage negotiate. So we had an interpreter with us, and we were on the phone with the FBI back in New York. We could see where Captain Phillips was. At this point, he'd already jumped off one time, so they had him kind of tied up. So they get around, and then eventually we got in a rib and kind of were chasing him down, putting him back. They would shoot at us. We fucking couldn't shoot back because we didn't know what the fuck we were shooting at. Eventually, we got the Halliburton to launch a helicopter and use the helicopter prop wash to kind of spin him around and push him back out to sea.
Were they not trying to shoot the helicopter?
We got paired up with one of the red snipers and like, okay, you guys got this guy, you guys got this guy, and you guys got that guy. Jeff and his guy had the guy up front. Myself, Clint, had this guy, and then the other pair had the other guy. So this went on for, seems like a while before it was like, oh shit, my guy's up. And everybody's like, hey, we're red, we're good.
Welcome to Mic Drop, the podcast where relevancy is irrelevant and we don't give a shit about your feelings. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's both an honor and a pleasure to welcome my next guest to the podcast. He spent 26 years in the SEAL teams. He's done over 12 deployments to pretty much fucking everywhere. He's got 5 Bronze Stars. He spent 17 years at Dev Group and was involved in the Jessica Lynch rescue as well as the Captain Phillips operation. He can smoke your ass from the next zip code, and his middle name is Quigley Down Under. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Terry Houin.
Yeah, pretty close. Well, it's an honor, Mike. Thanks for having me up here. It's like playing phone tag for the last couple of years or so, trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the hell out of you making time. I know you're in Texas anyway, but I know it's kind of a pain to button hook back up into the north part of Dallas and spend a few hours. So I appreciate you taking the time.
No, it's my pleasure. I like doing this stuff.
Yeah. I'd like to take a quick second to shout out and thank our sponsor for today's podcast, Origin Labs and Jocko Fuel. Jocko Fuel is a great product. He's got a ton of products actually within the Jocko Fuel line. The guests and I enjoy them on the show. And outside, I take a lot of the supplements. I've got some of the Origin Lab jeans, boots, gis, and it's just all around American industry. They do a fantastic job really re-revolutionizing American industry from start to finish. It's all American made, all American sourced. Everything start to finish is made right there in-house. And they really do a phenomenal job creating the products and fulfilling the whole ball of wax. They've been a huge supporter of the Mic Drop podcast for a while now, and I really can't thank Jocko Fuel and Origin Labs enough for the job that they do for us, and so thank you to you guys. I'd also like to say thank you to our other sponsor, Resilience Premium CBD. Resilience is excited to offer all Mic Drop listeners a 20% off discount on all products for 2 weeks from when this podcast is live, using the discount code MICDROP at checkout. That's 2 words, MICDROP at checkout. I'd also like to say that Resilience is a great company that works in conjunction with Trico CBD, and all military veterans and first responders receive 35% off. Yes, that's 35% off for all military veterans and first responders, and that's through the Military and First Responders program. You just have to sign up at resilientcbd.com/military first responders discount. In terms of about Resilience, generally speaking, it's a premium CBD that I use. Again, it works in conjunction with the Tricos brand for the everyday athlete. That's www.resilientcbd.com. And Resilience was really born with the founders who are military veterans as well, personally experienced the effects and impact that CBD had on their own mental and physical obstacles. Their focus was sharper, mental stress was calmed, fitness stamina increased, and their bodies felt less pain, inflammation after super intense workouts. A lot of times most people and people are able to either wean off entirely or significantly reduce pain management therapy. This is a shared vision among the founders, that this incredible supplement had not only changed their lives, but had the power to provide unbelievable benefits to family, friends, athletes, fellow veterans, and ultimately the entire fitness community. So big shout out to Resilience for their product as well as the Trico stuff. We sure appreciate their support. What's the favorite hunt you've ever been on?
I would say, two, and they both have to do with one of our guys. So probably my number one would be, well, my number two would be a doll sheep hunt I did with Gold Recce back in 2010. So we went up Tom Ratzliff. Do you know Rat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom set this up as a, quote, training mission to go up and learn how to live in the mountains with Alaskan guides. And knowing Tom, for the guys that know Rat, he set it up exactly as middle of hunting season.
Yeah.
He had some ulterior motives.
No good deal for good seals.
Yeah. So we went up there and they spent 14 days on a mountain. I did 5 and shot a really nice ram and spent a bunch of time with the guys. And that turned out to be my last trip with Rat before he perished in Extortion 17.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years after that, I took his oldest son and we went up in that same area,
cool.
tried to hit the same mountains and spent a bunch of time up there with his oldest.
God damn, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That,
so those two would be my top two.
Yeah. I got to say that one of the neat things about the community, generally speaking, is when you see guys that do end up getting killed, the way that the rest of the guys pull together and still, play a pretty active role in their kids' lives is pretty special. It's neat to see that.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the things that separates us from a lot of the groups. CAG and those guys are pretty similar in that, but that bond you build with the guys and the families and the kids, you almost feel obligated to kind of carry on as much as you can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's to me, there's no greater responsibility, I think, than picking up the slack as far as that goes. What's the worst thing about the Navy?
Oh God, the worst thing.
How much time?
How long do we got on this thing? I would say, from looking back now as being retired Master Chief and doing my last job as part of the Buds training pipeline up in Chicago, I would say the way the direction the Navy's going now is what really bothers me.
Yeah.
Kind of about it. They're struggling to get quality people in that can pass either the physical test or the drug test or the criminal test and have the capabilities to do the job, and how much slack the Navy's willing to give them just to get bodies in the door.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst thing about the Navy.
That is fucking troubling. I mean, so the last point in your career, you saw that pretty much firsthand. Was it? I mean, is it like where they're dictating to you like,
no, not on our side, not on NSW side.
Okay.
We got standards and it's pretty cut and dry, but just the Navy, Navy, because we're across the road from the boot camp.
Yeah.
So just listen to the RTC Master Chief and the guys running that over there, just the struggles they got to do just to get people in the door.
Yeah. God damn.
Yeah.
What was Christmas morning like for you growing up?
Christmas morning. It was fun. I mean, back in 90 or 80s, early 80s and through there when I was a kid, we didn't have internet, didn't have anything, and we were just an average family, blue collar family. Dad worked his ass off to get us what we needed. So it was fun because we didn't get stuff ahead of time. It seems like we kind of spoil our kids these days. We're like, you can open up a couple gifts up and
it's Thanksgiving,
before,
you little prick.
Yeah. So it was good because you didn't really know what was coming. You kind of had your Sears and Roebuck card, catalog going, and you dug through the pages and just kind of hope for the best and happy with whatever you got.
Was there any traditional foods that you ate every Christmas, without doubt in the morning?
We always did pizza Christmas Eve.
Really?
For whatever reason, it's just Christmas Eve. Dad would bring home a pizza, and we would have to do that and kind of hang out. And then Christmas, it was, I don't know, probably nothing traditional for Christmas dinner. We, being a dairy farmer, that's what the rest of the family's all dairy farmers. Dad had 13 brothers and sisters.
God damn.
So we always had a big Christmas family dinner type thing with those. So that was, the turkey and everything under the sun. Somebody had, their specialty dish.
Yeah, no, that's good shit.
Yeah,
to me, I know for me the nostalgia that I look back on, holidays, specifically Christmas, and trying to recreate some of that for my kids and failing miserably. It's just different, we just I continually marvel at my parents' ability to celebrate Christmas with the magnitude that they did back then, and I can't even come close to recreating it. But
I think there's like too much knowledge out there.
Yeah.
There's no mystery left.
Yeah.
Especially my kids are teenagers now.
Yeah,
So
I mean, between fucking ring cams and phone apps and whatever, it's hard to fool them for very goddamn long. We didn't have Elf on the Shelf. Did you guys didn't?
Yeah, we did. Well, not I didn't
as a kid though, right?
But, yeah, but with my kids we did, which was fun.
No, that Elf on the Shelf is next level, fucking awesome.
Yeah, our little elf was a bastard.
What's the best Elf on the Shelf recreation you did?
Probably some of the drunk scenarios with him and some Barbie dolls and stuff. But yeah.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Which when the kids are like 3 or 4, they don't
get
understand it.
Yeah. What's all that white powder all over the Barbie's ass? Oh, don't worry about that. We spilled something.
Yeah, he's making cookies.
Yeah. What thing do you focus on in terms of holding yourself accountable for the most?
Ooh, things. I mean, I'm not sure if I. Just talking about as far as like just continuing education and staying in shape and that kind of stuff, or just
generally speaking
standards
in your life now. Like, is there one thing that stands out that that kind of takes precedence over everything else that you try to hold yourself accountable for?
It's probably that accountability. So, kind of like my mission now in life after retirement is kind of trying to find that next purpose. Or what I want to do is I've kind of settled on trying to. Well, my mission, if I was going to say it, would be to use my experiences to make people's lives better. Yeah. So whatever aspect that is. So if that's my mission walking forward, whatever, if you and I are having a conversation and something pops out, I can't let it slip.
Yeah.
So I've got to hold myself accountable to make sure that I'm teaching whoever I'm talking to, whether it's business groups or coaching kids, I'm passing on as much information as I can and explaining to them why it's important that we're doing this stuff.
Yeah.
As easy it is just to let stuff go. Sometimes it's hard to hold myself accountable to bring it up, talk about it, pick up the trash, wipe down the counters, all the stuff that is easy to walk by if it's somebody else's facility.
Yeah. Well, I think, it's those little things that add up that kind of paint the whole picture too. You know?
And I guess part of this too, it just comes from doing that Bud's prep time. And, if I'm getting on average 200 kids a class, seeing how many of them never been held accountable.
Yeah.
And now they're in the Navy. Now they got rules. They've got to follow the rules, and they never had to do that before. So they're wondering why they're getting kicked out, wondering why they're getting in trouble.
Yeah. What is the attrition rate at that point? Because that's pre-Buds or Buds prep,
Yeah, that's
right?
Buds prep. So our average while I was there is about 12%. We're not a selection. We've got standards to come in, standards to leave. As long as you do your job and don't get in trouble, we're going to pass through as many as we can because that's our goal is to get them ready for California. So we're still, 10% from medical to guys drinking underage and getting stupid shit, or just self-selecting themselves out by not passing the test.
Yeah, I got you. Would you say, and I know it's hard to compare when you look back to when you were in Buds and comparing to your classmates, because like when you're in that position, you always think it was harder or whatever. But do you see like a huge disparity of the crop coming in now comparatively?
I would say from a intelligence side and a physical side, they're much better now.
Really?
Oh God, like I had no clue what I was getting into, right?
Yeah.
In 1991, when I signed up for the Navy, there was no internet, there was no movies. Charlie Sheen movie hadn't come out yet. I was like, I had no clue. Recruiter saw me a mile away. He's like, "Come on in, hey, sign this. You look like you like guns and blowing shit up." And I'm like, yeah, it sounds like fun to me.
Yeah. I wonder though if there's a detriment to knowing too much.
And it's kind of the fine balancing point of giving them enough education and enough information to do the job well, and trying to weed out all the bad information out there. Because with Reddit and Reddit pages and all these other pages that are out there, the people looking on ways to cheat, and it's almost discouraging because they're coming in with these expectations of what they should be doing or ways to cheat the system already.
Yeah,
because they read a book that's like, oh, everybody cheats, and
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Well, to a point, right? At Hell Week, if you can save a couple laps on something or take a break in the back of the chow hall when nobody's looking, and why not? But you shouldn't start day one already looking to make it easier.
No, I agree, and I think the key concept with that is not getting caught, because and also realize here's where the accountability comes in. Is it realized by fucking around and trying, if you do, you're going to pay the man and potentially even get kicked the fuck out, So I think that disclaimer is probably not accompanying most of the, hey, you should cheat advice.
No, and it does. It's a learning point, right? Yeah. Like when we went through Buds, it's like, hey, let's try to cheat, and we're going to learn how far we can go, get away with it, knowing that we're going to get our asses handed to us when they get caught. But
Yeah, no, that's no doubt. Where did you originally grow up?
Indiana, northern Indiana.
And you're still there now,
Yeah,
right?
that's where. Yeah, so I took that job up in Chicago on the way out after making Master Chief. Kind of like down cycle a little bit, slow down a little bit, take a break after 17 years at the command. So I took Chicago. Family's like, well, we don't want to be in Chicago, but we'll be close by. So it's a couple hours away. So
Yeah.
drive home on Friday and back up on Monday. And
Yeah. Is Bobby Knight Jesus in Indiana?
I think he still is. I think he's still
close.
up behind an altar right there.
I mean, is there do you have a Christmas ornament of Bobby Knight on the Christmas tree?
I don't. I'm not a I'm 5.5 foot tall. I'm Smurf crew guy, so I wasn't a basketball kid. But yeah, between him and Lou Holtz, I don't know who carries more weight in Indiana.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of family and sports, generally speaking, did you? It sounds like you grew up on a dairy farm. Were sports a part of that childhood, and what was your family life like?
Yeah, so I grew up swimming, soccer, and wrestling. It was kind of the stuff that I got into, and helping around the farm. My dad was one of the few that didn't. Well, he grew up on a farm, helping on the farm, but then he got a job outside of that. So we still help, picking up rocks in the summertime and detasseling corn and all that good redneck shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm from Iowa. Did the same shit,
yeah.
So
Builds character.
Yeah. I'm curious. Like, I didn't grow up on a dairy farm. My family, like my dad's aunt and uncle had a small family farm not far from where we lived. So we spent some time on there, but for sure didn't grow up, tending to livestock and things of that nature. I am curious. With the wrestling background and growing up doing that, specifically like grip strength and just overall wrestling, tussling strength, did you find that you had an advantage over kids that didn't grow up on a farm from a wrestling standpoint?
I think so. I mean, when it comes to buds, like pull-ups were not an issue for me.
So, like growing up and in high school, would you say you were a good student or a good athlete or what have you?
Also, was probably an above-average athlete and decent student. I passed, but did not excel at anything.
Like south of 3-point grade average?
I'll be lucky if I saw the north side of 3. Yeah, yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I just
think
never
it was like
really
a 2.5.
It was funny, looking back on it now after because I finished up my degree and everything, and I liked that and I did well. It was just like I didn't really get into the classes. So like the classes I liked, I did really well at, and then in the ones that just didn't really get my interest or the teachers didn't give me interest.
Yeah. Didn't give a fuck.
I did well enough to not fail.
Was there a point at which you were like, yep, this is what I'm fucking doing. I'm joining the SEALs. And if so, what was the catalyst to that?
Yeah, I would love to have that story of like these guys. Like, I was 4 years old and I knew from like day one I wanted to be a SEAL. Like, no, I didn't have a clue. I knew when I graduated school I had 3 options. I could stay in town and work and be like the guys that stay in town. I could go to college, which I was not nearly mature enough to go to college at that point, or I could join the military. Growing up swimming, I liked the water. So like, I'll go talk to Navy guys. They got divers. I'll go learn how to scuba dive. That's what I'll do. So I went and talked to him, and typical recruiters like, oh, what do you like doing? What are your hobbies? What are your pastimes? Tell him hunting and fishing and being outdoors. And he showed me a poster. Like those guys coming out of the water. They got guns, jumping out of airplanes. He's like, what about this? I'm like, that looks pretty cool. What is that? And he's like, well, you like shooting guns? I mean, yep, check, got it. I'm about blowing stuff up. I'm like, never done it, but it sounds pretty damn cool. Yeah. Well, hell yeah. And then jumping out of airplanes, sign me up. So he signed me up and had no clue. Didn't mention like how long buds was, the attrition rate.
Did he even mention like afterwards? SEALs, or was he just like,
well, yeah, he showed me SEALs and they gave me this little yellow envelope. It was like, flip it open. It said like buds, his training program, whatever, but it didn't say like 90% of the guys didn't make it. And you had to go haze grain underway and chip paint and scrub shitters for 4 years if you didn't make it.
Did he give you that, did he give you that fucking warning order with the workouts in it?
No, I didn't get shit. I went to boot camp in Orlando, and that's where I met, well, actually one of those guys on the calendar was a motivator down there.
No
so
shit.
We started doing the workouts with those guys, and that was my first kind of, okay, there's something more to this than what the picture was.
Yeah.
So it was good talking to those guys. It was him and big black guy, I can't remember his name, but awesome dudes. I would just ask them questions after question after question, and they would just like soak it up because, in our company we had, I don't know, 10 or 15 guys that were in that program.
Yeah.
And hardly any of those guys even cared about it.
Yeah.
So me and 2 other guys would sit there and just show up at 4 in the morning, do our workouts, ask them questions, and do extra workouts, and that was my first kind at least a glimpse behind the counter or the curtain of what that was. And then one of the boot camp guys, whatever the drill sergeants are that run boot camp, brought in the Charlie Sheen movie. So we watched that and like in front of boot camp. He's like, "Oh, this is what Terry," and I can't remember the other two guys were. They're like, "This is what they're going to be."
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah, God, call God. I'm going to shoot some thermals through walls.
Yeah. So you went to fucking boot camp in Orlando. That was towards the end of when it existed.
Yeah, it was 92, January 92. I went down there. Yeah, I don't think there were too many classes afterwards before they shut that down.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I came in 96, and at that point it was just Great Lakes. But that was the beauty of the Navy. They sent me to. I'm from Indiana. They sent me to boot camp in Orlando and then A school back up in Chicago. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, hey.
Fucking brilliant.
It was nice. I bet it was nicer than being in Chicago in January.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. So once you graduated there, what was your A school?
Electrician's mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah.
They said, you got to pick one. And one of the guys in boot camp was like, hey, my brother does this. And he says it's cool.
Was there anything that that you picked up there that you retain today that's worth a fuck?
From my A school is, don't touch fucking live wires because they hurt. And electricity will kill you. So it's amps, not the voltage.
Yeah. Those are the two key components, right?
Electricity is like water. It's just going to flow in one side, out the other.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
All right, so you go to Bud's late 100s, is that?
189, yeah. I got out there, 188 was just classing up, and they told me to go out to San Clemente Island to be one of the helpers out there for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And by the time I came back, 88's already classed up, which is good for me because I was not in the right mindset or shape to even start first phase at that point. So they did me a favor by sending me out there.
Was there anything during the Bud's process that surprised you or that kind of stands out as being super impactful?
Yeah, I would say the whole process and looking back on the science behind it and built when you're going through it, it's like, this is just fucking mayhem. They're just beat me down and just going to kill me and whoever shakes out the other end is going to be good. But knowing the science now from being a backside of it or being part of that program is the structure to the grind that they put you through. Yeah. They put you through just enough to see where you're at and build you up on your ability to take the suck for a while and then building the teamwork.
Yeah.
Like that process, if nothing else, is going to force you to work as a team, whether you like guys or not.
Yeah.
And suck it up.
Do you remember how many guys you started with?
We started with 119, I think it was.
You remember how many graduated?
We had 14 of the original guys and then about another dozen or so roll-ins.
Yeah. Did you make it straight through?
Yep.
Yeah. That's fucking wild, man.
I was too dumb to quit or do anything else.
Well, yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the basis of the comment. Like, do you think there's too much info out there? I think to a certain extent there is that, guy like almost to where they psych themselves out. Like they know every fucking thing that's coming.
I had one class. We classed up in like October, or up in Chicago, so I had them in October and it wasn't chilly. It was like 40 degrees or so out. And we went down to the beach and we were going to get in the water and I had a guy day one. I said, okay, guys, online, start walking towards the water. They didn't get wet yet. And he's like, nope.
No shit.
This is not for me. I'm like, what? I'm like, come over here. Get over here and talk to me. What the hell's going on? You can't quit in day one, like the first hour of training.
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, the movies and videos didn't show any of this shit.
No shit.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Like, what the fuck were you watching?
Yeah, well, that and then, dude, you know how hard it is to get there because you start with so many candidates to get those 1,200 contracts a year, knowing we're going to try to get through 200 guys through the training program.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of guys that really, really want to try this thing.
Yeah.
And you took a spot from somebody that may never get another chance.
Yeah. No, that's a fucking travesty.
But yeah, I mean, back when I went through, it was like I didn't know any better. And by the time I realized what was going on, I was already like Wednesday of Hell Week, and I'm like, well, shit.
So I can't quit.
I'm already over the hump now. Yeah. Might as well keep on going.
Yeah. I guess did anything in Hell Week surprise you? Was anything harder than you thought or easier than you thought?
I don't know, because I mean, back then, by the time you got to Hell Week, you were just. And it's still the same thing today. You get up at 5, you're going to run, you're going to get wet, you're going to work your ass off all day. So Hell Week really wasn't much different than that, other than the longer, the anticipation. You're sitting there on Sunday, everybody's together, you're kind of nervous about what's going on until breakout happens, and then once breakout happens, you're just reacting.
Yeah,
you're just moving. You're hearing the bell ring. You're like, oh shit, that wasn't me. I'm going to keep on going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always motivated by hearing the bell ring, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still here.
Yeah, it was who? Yeah, somebody had a post the other day about. Does anybody remember the quitter?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I remember the one guy that thought he was a badass, and he was like the first guy that quit, and then he takes like 5 guys with him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing, and I know, I spent the last 3 years as a buds instructor.
Oh yeah, yes, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was fascinating. Honestly,
what phase were you?
I was in doc for most of the time, and then I jumped into first phase a little bit.
Yeah.
And worked most of the hell weeks, but to me the fascinating part about it is just knowing like how much is on the line. And seeing these guys, you can see their fucking hamster wheels turning, and before they even quit, you can you can be like, that guy's fucking, but
yeah, it's those guys already made up their mind they were going to quit at some point.
Yeah,
they just didn't know when.
Yeah,
so you could see them going, you could see them turning, like it's coming. It's
I guess to me, what I found fascinating was the psychology behind it, in knowing that it's not like the Army or really any other force that way, where if you leave there you'll still go do something kind of similar.
Oh yeah.
Whereas here it's like, dude, it's night and fucking day different. But that still didn't keep guys from quitting. Especially I was always dumbfounded when a guy had quit and be like, yeah, but I'm coming back. It's like, coming back, motherfucker, you could still be in there. Like,
oh shit. I mean, even like now, like when we went through, you could quit. Generally, you have a pretty good chance to come back if you want to screen again. If you were mentally strong enough to really actually want to come back. Now with the numbers we're going and how they're running the cycle, you may not get another chance.
Oh no shit.
I mean, you may only get one shot because, if say our numbers for 2015, if we maxed out on our 2015 year group, then we're not taking more 2015 guys.
Oh wow, fuck man, I didn't know.
Yeah.
That.
So I when I'm running Buds prep, I'm like, hey, yes, everybody says you can come back in 2 years, and that's the general rule of thumb. But if the rest of your class makes through and we hit our numbers, there won't be any slots left. Yeah.
Man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, so you make it through Buds, assuming you went through Benning Jump School, and then what was the first team you went to?
Well, I was lucky, so I ended up being the honor man because I outlasted all the other competitions, so I got to pick. And,
oh no shit!
Yeah, and that time was just after Panama, so everybody was like, "Oh man, you got to go to Team 4 if you want to get any action."
That's where
so
the
I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go to SEAL Team 4.
Yeah,
which is good. I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, went from there to Benning Jump School and beat your boots and all that, run around and try to play the game as best you can without getting too much trouble, and then shipped up to Virginia Beach.
In terms of going to Team 4 at that time, so early mid 90s.
Yeah, 90. So I graduated Buds in August of 93. Yeah.
What was that check-in process like?
It was a little odd because I still a brand new guy in the Navy, right? So I'm out there walking in, checking the quarterback. I got my whites on. I'm trying to be as professional as I can. And you got, I don't remember who it was behind the quarterdeck. Somebody's like back there, like, hey, I'm here to check in. In the early 90s, our SEAL teams were small. There was probably 30 active duty SEALs or so there at the time. Most of those were already gone on trips, so there was like nobody around. They're like, okay, hey, go here. And the first person I run into is the command master chief. And I've got no clue. I just see a trident and master chief bars. And he just lights my ass up. It's like, what in the hell are you doing? I'm like, sorry, Master Chief, I'm a new check-in. He's like, fuck the hell you are. He's dropping me down. I don't know any better. I'm like, I'm right out of Buds. I'm doing what I'm told. But yeah, he fucked with me for about 15 minutes and then pulled me in his office and gave me his expectations of what it is to be a SEAL at SEAL Team 4 and what it would look like and the process. And he gave me the rundown right off the bat. And then I met the rest of the guys after that. So
yeah. What was there hazing pretty significant at that time? I know. I mean, when I checked in,
it was hazing, but I mean, it's it's such a 4-letter word these days. But that's kind of a rite of passage. I'm glad I got to experience that.
Yeah, no, I'm right. I think it should still be there.
Yeah, so we went through. At that point, SQT and everything was still at the teams, or STT we called it. So we joined up with Team 2 guys, Team 4 guys, and went through STT, did that, and then you did a trident board after that before you jumped in your first platoon. Yeah. But I didn't get my hazing until first platoon.
Yeah, that was the same type of pipeline. Is there a hazing story that stands out as being the worst?
Well, I mean, my hazing session it sucked, but I'm glad it was fun to be part of. It
was just like getting taped up.
Yeah, platoon guys taped me up and putting a noose on a cock and all that stuff, and just the shit that you do. Booze and
Did you have any mini blast machine or Tabasco sauce?
All the
All
above.
that shit.
I had the luck, I guess I had the pleasure of having a lot of still brand new guys that had done one platoon. They were my second, or my first platoon was their second.
Yeah.
So they were making sure that they got their bit of me. But it was good. I mean, it's like it's a bonding process, right? Just like
for sure,
just like Hell Week and everything else. It's that crucible of going through life of now I took the next step.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the other thing too is it's one, it's a rite of passage and a good bonding tool, but it's also the other side of that coin is it's a hell of a remediation tactic also.
Yeah, I mean, if you're fucked up, then
I mean,
it's a great way to straighten the ship out.
Yeah, because without being able to do that, I mean, to me, that the threat and knowing and the understanding of that happening and how severe it may be keeps a lot of fucking people between the lines, you know. And I think that's one of the most severely lacking components of our society now is not being able to do that.
And you're able to right the ship quickly.
Yeah.
You know, if a guy gets out of line, like boom, smack him down a little bit, and he's back in line. There's no, well, we got to document it. We got to document it again.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the point where you can actually fire a guy or do something, it's too late. At that point, you lost him.
Yeah. So how many were you there for at Team 4 for what, 4 years?
Just 5 years. So I did 93 to 98, did 2 South American Panama deployments. Yeah. Pre 9/11. So it was go down, do the FID mission, the MTT stuff with our partner forces. And it was great for 19, 20-year-old kid. Yeah. I learned a lot from those guys.
Yeah. And I mean, was there any counter narc stuff that you guys were a part of, or was it pretty?
Not too much. I didn't get involved with it. Some of the Team 4 guys were in that area, but yeah, I did pretty much all of my deployments for all FID mission stuff.
Yeah. And for those of you listening, the FID is Foreign Internal Defense, or basically just training with the host nation forces and things of that nature.
Yeah, sorry, I got relapsed into my military jargon.
No, it's easy to. I do it all the time, but all right. So after Team 4, is that when you decided to screen and go to Dev Group, or?
Even at that point, I did. So when I screened, I had no clue what Dev Group was, even though my first 2 platoon chiefs came from there. They didn't really talk about it. Didn't really say anything about it. They just reminded me like, hey, if you want to take the next step and stay in, you should at least screen for it. Yeah. I didn't know anything about it. And my fiance or my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, she's like, well, I'm staying in Virginia Beach. So if you get out, then I'm staying here. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll sign up and screen for this thing and screen positive. And I was supposed to go in 99, and then the other guy that screened for 98 got hurt. So I took his spot in 98 and went over to Green Team in 98.
What, if you can, shed some light on Green Team in terms of how it compares to Buds. I know they're 2 totally different courses, but for the listener, I think a lot of times people are confused or just they don't have a deep understanding of how significant and difficult going through Green Team is.
Yeah, so if I was going to compare it, so Buds would be your selection course. Does this student or candidate have the mental and physical capacity to be a SEAL? And that's really all they're screening up. Like, okay, he's strong enough to get through Hell Week, and now we're going to train him and see if he's smart enough to do the job. Then you go to your team, you learn how to do the job, and then what Green Team is kind of that next selection. Like, okay, he can do the job. Can he do it well enough to work to this next level? Yeah. And it's at that point, it was another 6-month screening process, jumping and scuba diving, all the stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis. It was just like the advanced varsity level type stuff. Yeah.
One of the things that it seems to me, I guess, having not been there, but knowing, quite a few guys that went, is that one thing I was surprised, and I'd love for you to shed some light on. Sure. Is, some guys that I knew that did multiple platoons with and I didn't have the highest opinion of them, nor did a lot of people at the command. But again, pre 9/11, some of them went over there and did fairly well. They at least made it. I mean, and other guys that again, after having spent some a few years with them, more than just walking past them in a fucking locker room. I mean, legitimately working with a guy for a few years that goes over there that you think is pretty fucking squared away that doesn't make it. If you could shed some light on that in conjunction with how big, if any, a role in terms of politics playing in your ability to make it through their plays.
I would say politics are very little. I mean, you'll have some personality conflicts, and I had a couple of those with my Green Team class. Good dudes that they had friction with the cadre staff, so it kind of kind of came to a boiling point that he made enough little mistakes that it added up to get him rid of. But these days, it's pretty cut and dried. There's standards. Here's what we're looking for. We're trying to keep as many guys as we can because we got a mission to do for the country, and we need as many guys as we can. So we're not trying to get rid of guys for any reason, unless there's a character or integrity or safety issue. But 90% of the SEALs, if they would screen, they could make it through green team. I think most of the guys have the capacity to do it. Whether or not they have the drive to do it, or life situation lets them go, and all that kind of stuff that goes on the backside that nobody really pays attention to.
Yeah. To me, green team.
Does that answer your question a little bit?
No, for sure.
Kind of random.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, just in thinking of knowing a few guys that have gone there, and some of them I had a pretty high opinion of, and some not, didn't seem to correlate with the guys that made it through versus the guys that didn't, at least across the board. I mean, I would say largely it did, but there were enough examples of either guys I went through training with or were at Team 3 with that I look at and I'm like, 10 years later, I'm like, how the fuck is this guy? Like, he was a bonehead, and back when I knew, so I don't know.
I think, because I was one of the young guys. My nickname was Baby because I was the youngest guy in green team and everything along. So I matured a lot during green team.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a standard for a lot of guys that meet the expectations at one of the other SEAL teams, and going now they're stepping up. Now they're put in a position where they've got to make themselves better, and they're with more, I want to say cream of the crop, because there's a lot of great guys out there, but they're at that next level. So they've got to step up. They can't slip up and kind of keep up with the train.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings the best out of everybody, because it's a competition, regardless of what anybody says, it's always a competition. You're always getting judged. Everybody's always watching.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the green team, then there's the draft on who goes to what squadrons.
How does that work?
Well, these days it kind of boils down to who needs guys and what kind of guys or what skill sets they need. And then they kind of draft off and go from there. Everybody running the green team is from one of the squadrons, so they know the personality, who's going to fit with their squadron, who's not going to fit with the squadron. So it kind of comes down to a shuffling game along those lines.
Yeah. When you were in that position, was it were guys vying to get you for a specific reason, or did it just?
No, I think I was probably at the bottom of the list. I made it through. I made it through, and I didn't screw anything up as far as I know, and I never got in trouble. And I was one of the gray guys, gray men.
Yeah. Where did you end up going?
I ended up going to the Gold Squadron.
Yeah. And were you there the whole time, or?
I did. What did I do? 6 or 7 years in Gold Squadron, and then did some training time. Then the Black Squadron. Then the snipers, and then back to Black Squadron, and it's kind of bounced around a little bit.
Yeah. So your time at the squadron, if you could kind of walk us through what that experience is like when you've done some time in a regular SEAL team, you go through green team, you get picked up, now you're in a squadron. Talk us through that.
It was eye-opening, because at this point I'd already had 5 years in the teams, done a couple of deployments, knew I could do the job, and made it through green team. Again, didn't really screw up, and just one of the guys in green team. But when you step into that squadron and you hit the house for the first time, it's like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
This is fucking fast, and I have no clue what they're doing. I'm just going to try to keep up with the back of the train and keep my eyes open as much as I can to learn.
Yeah.
Because now you're like training is to a level, and then now I'm stepping right into the big leagues.
Yeah.
And I kind of think they always set it up this way too, because looking in the back when we had new guys, we already run the house a bunch of times before the new guys showed up. So you kind of knew the scenario.
Yeah.
They already know what's going on. So
impressive.
I think it's almost like the old guys at the time, because I had like some of the renowned guys in Gold Team at that time, and I think they set it up like we're just going to fucking blow their socks off.
Yeah. So they're like, holy shit.
And put them in their place right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everybody that came up with the green team with me, they're all like, holy fuck.
Yeah. What in terms of kind of your impression of that, did you feel that same way? And from there, like, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I thought so. I was like, holy shit, what did I step into?
Yeah.
Like, we just stepped it up like 10 notches from where I was at.
Yeah.
But once you start in there, after a couple of weeks, it starts slowing. Everything slows down because you start to see a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You can see the mindset and see what's going on. You can hear the communications now, because before, you're not hearing shit. Guys are making calls. They're just running and shooting. Shit's blowing up. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But after that, after you do a few runs and start slowing down, and then that process goes through your head, you understand, you know how to do CQB, you know how to prosecute a house and a target and everything else. Now you're opening your eyes. And these guys, even as a brand new guy, let me run the hall. They're like, hey, you're up front, run the hall.
Yeah.
You're part of the squadron.
Yeah.
Like, do your job.
What is the standard in terms of grouping and not shooting a hostage? I mean, it's pretty stringent. Like,
Yeah, don't miss.
I mean,
Yeah.
and what like is there a 3x5 card standard or what?
It's we'll do drills like that with shot placement type stuff. But if we're doing house runs, it's keep them in the body and the head.
Yeah.
Don't shoot any hostages.
And if you do, I mean, what? Let's say
It's pretty significant. If you shoot a hostage on a driver, at least in the late '90s when I went through before 9/11, the National Mission Force Dev Group, it was hostage rescue. That's what we're there for. We're there in case something happens and the balloon goes up. We got 4 hours to react and go save the world. So we trained heavily on fast CQB, put ourselves at risk, get the hostage and take them home. So if we shot something that wasn't a bad guy, it was pretty stringent. The guys, you get your asses handed to you.
I mean, like if it happens twice, you're kicked out, kind of thing, or
I don't know if there's a specific number on it because you kind of weigh everything.
Yeah.
But if you repeatedly mess up, you are going to be carrying the heavy shit.
Yeah.
Like grab a sledge and don't touch a fucking gun.
Yeah. Without getting into the actual tactics, how big a difference was there tactically between what you'd done at SEAL Team 4 CQB wise and now what you were doing at Dev Group?
At that time in the 90s, probably the biggest aspect would be the speed.
Yeah.
The speed and the complexity of the targets. Because
Yeah.
now we're using, we did explosions at, explosive stuff at breaching and whatnot at Team 4, but it wasn't like, hey, every single run, damn it, you run through, people were blowing shit in the hole and you're walking past, you got to keep your head on a swivel because there's no slowing down.
Yeah.
If this door's locked, breachers, you take that, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably the speed and the complexity were the biggest changes.
In terms of 9/11, when that hit and where you were at, I mean, I'm assuming timeline wise, you were right in balls deep in fucking.
Yeah, we were actually on standby. So September 10th, we went and did backseat rides with F-18 guys across the road. Next morning, we come in. I was in the sniper shack at this point after doing a few years in the assault side, just doing our daily workout. Over there lifting weights in the gym, and guys come in and are like, "Hey, come on back over to the recce shack. Something's going on." By the time we walked in the recce shack, the second plane hit, beepers going off, phones going off. It's like, shit, something's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was right there on standby, on call.
What was the next few days, few weeks like for you at that point?
I mean, we were just turning and burning. Bags already packed because we were on standby. Cleaning guns, double checking batteries, double checking everything because we had no clue what the nation was going to ask us to do. Everybody had a big question mark at this point.
Yeah.
So it was about a week or so like that, and then we spun up some guys to go do some AFO, forward mission stuff. Everybody heard like the horse soldiers and stuff. We sent some guys over, similar type scenarios, and then one of the other squadrons got on call and they went forward, deployed to a ship for a little bit. And since we were at the end of standby at this point, we did the Bosnia mission and for the next one. And
so when was your next deployment that you actually went on to Afghanistan after that?
So my first one right at that standpoint, or 9/11 and being on standby during 9/11, we did the Bosnia. So,
I mean, I guess after that one.
Yeah. So after Bosnia, I went to my first Afghanistan deployment was July of 2002.
Okay. What was that like? I mean, it's pretty early on.
It was, and it was still a lot of question marks of like, what's our mission set? Who are we going after? We had this whole, I think we were TF5 TAC 2 or something. Was we like the top 5 guys, and there were 2 others. If these guys pop, we're going after them. Anything outside of that, we're not messing with because we're the National Mission Force. This is what we're here for. Because we were at this point, we were trading with Green. Green would do deployment, and we would do deployment kind of back to back.
For those of you listening, Green meaning Army, right?
Yeah, the Army, our Army counterparts.
Yeah.
Then that kind of loosened up over the course of the first month or so, and then recce guys got out to start doing some missions, and then we had a couple targets pop up right on the border, so recce guys started hitting mountains and hiking a lot.
How vividly do you remember your first real world no shit post 9/11 mission in Afghanistan?
Probably the first one that really kind of dug down would be some of those mountain ops on the side, because we flew in on dry holes and stuff. The first one you take off on, you're riding the helicopter. We're snipers. We're hanging out the side of the 60s going in. Your fucking balls are up your ass because you're like, fuck, this is legit.
Yeah.
Because at that point in July, we'd already lost all the guys on Roberts Ridge. So we knew the consequences of combat. You know, there was no fairy tales. Hey, we're going to fly in, save the day. It's like, hey, guys can die.
Yeah.
So we were pretty tight puckered up going into that first one, but then we had a couple of dry holes. At that point, it's kind of like a good dirt dive. Like, okay, hey, check it off.
Yeah.
No big deal. Hey, we trained much harder scenarios than this. So that was, but then, you know, doing those mountain missions, that was completely different. Even being a sniper recce guy, we had no clue gear wise what we needed. Like that first one we hiked up, we were planning on, you know, we drive to the base of the, you know, we're in the Hindu Kush. So we're, you know, 10, 12, 14,000 foot peaks, drive up to the base of the mountain and start climbing. And like, wow, this should only take us a few hours. It's, you know, a few thousand feet, no big deal.
2 days later.
Yeah, it took us no shit a day and a half to get up to the top.
God damn.
Yeah, we're hiking shit. Like we got radios and computers and extra batteries and guns, and I had my Win Mag with me because, you know, we were supposed to take this guy out if we could get him. My ruck probably weighed 90 pounds.
Yeah.
With water and a little bit of food.
Yeah. At 14,000.
Yeah, and no clue. I mean, it's like just taking baby steps, 3 inches up at a time. Like one step up, take a break. One step up, take a break.
So once you guys summited that and were where you were supposed to be, did you guys engage anybody?
We should have.
Yeah.
So that first night we got up to the very top of the mountain, and then we still had about a mile or so to go to get over there. So we RO'd, which would be, or ROD'd, which would be a rest over the day for the guys listening in. So it's a weird thing I mean, up on a very tip top of this mountain, we're in the clouds, and it was a fucking little rainforest. It was probably 200 acres total, just a little rainforest with all these trees, and it was wet and clouds. Wow. So we were camped out in there, and well, that's another story. We can cover that later, but it's fucking weird ass monkeys coming around. It's just like, you weren't sure if you were seeing things or it's like just like fucking 3 foot tall orange fucking monkeys running around. You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
I mean, that's for sure some shit that I think most people would never expect to exist at that elevation in Afghanistan.
And at this point, we'd already had our asses handed to us for like 10 hours. I'm like, I could hear shit moving around. Am I really seeing what I think I'm seeing? Or like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, so then that next period of darkness, we moved over to where we were supposed to be. First thing in the morning, here's the guy that we're looking for. We think he is making his phone call on top of the mountain because he would come up from one side on Pakistan, which we couldn't go to, and make his phone call. And we were waiting for the VID from our friends up in Washington because we were supposed to either capture him if we could for the intel side or, you know, eliminate him if we had to. And we couldn't get a call. You know, we're like, hey, we're watching him. He's on the phone. Is this our guy? Is this our guy? You know, give us an answer. I'm like, hold on. Never got an answer. And then eventually the clouds came in and we lost him. Couldn't find him anymore. Spent 3 more days up there looking for him, out of water, out of food. You know, the typical, you know, suck it up mission and, you know, working our way back. So we chased him in those mountains for 21 days out of 30.
Jesus.
Yeah, up and down. And finally, we got a helicopter ride out on the last one because we had the ghost sighting of Bin Laden, you know, 6 foot guy in a white robe on the side of a mountain somewhere. So they flew in to look for him, and we did Overwatch, and then they picked us up on the way home. But come to find out later on that was our guy, but they didn't want to tell us because they would rather take credit for the intel they were getting from the phone call by us wrapping them up.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it was 02. You know, everybody's like, this is my rice bowl. I want credit for it. And we don't have those issues anymore as much. But
what was the temperature like up there?
It was fucking cold. I mean, it was September. So in the valley in Sadabad, where we were based out of when we were on base, it was 100 degrees in camp. No wind. You know, just sun beating down in you. Up top there, it would sleet and hail on us. Yeah, that's how we got water. We'd just lay our ponchos out, and when a passing cloud would come through, we'd gather up as much sleet as we could and melt it down and make a little bit of water.
Sit on it and put it between your thighs?
Yeah.
God, that's a trip.
Just a weird place up there. I mean, awesome. You know, if you got rid of the shitty people, it was fucking beautiful. Beautiful country.
Yeah. So did that kind of round out that deployment? Was just chasing that?
Yeah, we did that through most of September. Chased other ghost sightings of Bin Laden a couple times. Crashed a couple of helicopters and packed it up and went home.
Were the helo crashes fatal at all?
No. They were
controlled.
Well, the valleys up there are so fucking steep. On that mission, we were trying to get in on. We were trying to drop some guys right on top of a rooftop, and as a helo was coming down, they're lower down. They just hit the rotor tips on the sides, on the trees and stuff on the side. So they had to end up setting it down. Guys are fine. Hard landing, but nobody got hurt, and then had to fly back up next day to recover the 60.
So after that deployment, you go home, and one thing that I think I really think is awesome about Dev Group in terms of how they structure, deployments versus not or whatever is shorter, but more often. I think that makes way more sense. But so when you came back from that one, was there a sense of like, okay, we got that under our belt, like now going back, we know what to kind of plan for and look forward to and whatever?
Yeah, I think so. And then the other nice thing about like being in a recce shack at that time, it was a literal shack. It was just a small building on the backside of the compound that all the squadron sniper guys were hanging out in. So as the red guys were overseas, they're passing information back like, hey, this gear works, this gear doesn't work. Here's the tactics we're using right now. So we would have that constant feedback loop from the different recce guys. So we knew kind of what we were walking into to a degree. And then as we're learning those lessons and giving those after action reports, we're sending right back to the guys so they know.
That's good.
Before they even get over there, like, okay, here's the latest and greatest. Here's the routes we did. Here's where we've been working at. Here's some of the target packages. Yeah.
In terms of the group, if you can say it, about how many of you were there chasing that fucking guy?
Oh, there was 6 snipers, and then we had a EOD guy with us and a CCD guy with us. So
just 8 of you.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's not that I got to tell you. I mean, it seems like that's hanging it out there pretty.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, this is prior to Red Wings and everything else when, the Taliban guys weren't that emboldened. So we had some locals kind of walk through our area and see it. I mean, it would be fucking everywhere up there. Yeah. You think you'd be in the middle of nowhere. And next thing you know, there's a wife, some mom with bare feet with carrying a kid on her back climbing up at 12,000 feet for no apparent reason at all.
Were any of them hot?
No.
Not at that fucking elevation, right?
No. We did get a kid to bring us some bread, though. We were out of food on one of them. Like here's $100 to bring us some food.
Yeah,
no shit. He brought us some foot bread.
$100.
Yeah, hung out there.
That's fucking funny. All right, so the next deployment then, what was that like?
Yeah, so we came back from that first Afghanistan in October, turned right around, and at this point, Iraq was kind of getting spun up a little bit, and we were right on call for that. So we pushed back out to Iraq in early March, went forward staged for probably about a week or two before it got kicked off.
And so I'm assuming that was the Jessica Lynch deployment, right?
Yeah. So we were the first ones there. We did a bunch of the chem bio stuff right off the bat, and then we got a report that some Americans were missing, and we went. It was 4 or 5 of us, sniper guys, to go forward stage to us Nasiriyah, link up with some Marine guys there, and see what we could find out. Started interviewing people and looking around and driving around, and it's funny. I was listening to Andy Stump. He did a podcast with Jessica.
Yeah.
I listened to that because I was intimately there, and she was recounting stuff and where she was talking about being, for any of your listeners that listen to that or go listen to it, she was talking about being in a building by herself for like 24 hours. It was dark. She didn't know where she was. Well, I sent Andy those pictures. I'm like, I know exactly what building that was. We drove by because we had a report that there might have been something there. Took pictures of it from outside. Didn't see any kind of action going on there, so we never went inside. But if we would have, she was there.
No shit.
Yeah, like 100 yards away.
Fucking close.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So interestingly, small world. I was there in Nasiriyah at the same time with SEAL Team 3 Golf / Echo platoon. We started out as Golf and ended up as Echo. So we used the GE symbol as our platoon patch. But we were there like, I want to say it was probably a couple of miles from where the hospital was, but we were with the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit, and
those guys are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I don't know if it may have been you. I don't even remember, but I do remember there were some Gold Team guys.
Yeah, that was us
walking through that little camp. That was you.
Yeah.
So
we got the howitzers going off.
Yeah, so we actually probably met then.
Yeah, we might have. Yeah, we were just sleeping on the ground. It was awesome because we landed in Nasiriyah. Got off the airplane, C-130 takes off, and there's like nobody there.
Yeah.
Like where the fuck's our ride at? We're supposed to meet people. And happened to find, like Marine guys were there picking up some people or whatever. So we jumped on the back of the 6x, and, guys check my IG, and there's like just dirty fucking bastards right in the back of a 6x out to the middle of the desert. And
that's a trip.
We climb off that, and the first person we talked to is a damn 1-star general.
Yeah.
He's out there in the dirt with his guys, living off MREs, sleeping on the ground, and just fucking having a time of his life, just fucking launching howitzers and everything else. Is awesome.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool.
Those Marine guys are awesome.
Yeah. Well, in the, I want to say it was the 2nd Ranger Battalion was there too?
So we came in for about a week, interviewed some stuff, got some information, then went back, did another mission up in up by the lake. Then came back and had some follow-on from the doctor. Got some more information. So knew she was probably in that hospital. Got some better intel. Wired him up with a camera. Got some good camera video of what was going on. Confirmed that was her. And then we came back in. We had Rangers with us, and just a big package for what it ended up being. But
yeah,
you don't know.
What's that?
But we didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Going in, all the reports were a lot of fighters and everything else, and I think we probably kind of scared them away with our presence.
Yeah. What can you walk us through the actual fucking rescue operation as to how it went?
Yeah, like from my side, so we weren't too far from the airfield that we staged out of, and we had the entire squadron there. Had Ranger Bat there, Marine guys were there, so we had the Marines kind of cordon off the bigger general area. The night before, they would kind of push up their forward lines, and then we flew in the night. Salters land on the bottom. We land on top with snipers, provide overwatch, and they came in from the bottom and cleared out pretty well. I mean, nobody on target besides the hospital staff. I think we kind of ran everybody out of there.
Yeah.
But then brought the Rangers in, and the good thing is from our vantage point on the rooftop, looking over as the Marines or the Rangers were coming in, we could see, obviously some bodies buried, freshly dug up grave sites, and they almost ran over with their strikers. So we get them on the hall. We're lasering, looping where the bodies were, and we were able to pull not just Jessica back, but all those bodies as well. Recovered everybody else.
And that was the group of guys that she was with.
Yeah, all her friends and teammates there.
Yeah, that's a fucking trip. Have you been in contact with her at all?
I haven't. I know. No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. And again, I remember being right there when it happened. We could see fucking little birds going in, and you could hear it. I mean, it was pretty. Yeah,
neat put the little birds down in the courtyard with his halters and us up on the roof. It was fast. I mean, we did a good job. We went in and cleaned it up, and there was obviously, when we found signs that there was fighters there and radios, and there was at the bottom in the basement there was for lack of a better term, big sandbox of like Nasiriyah where shit was at.
Was there any resistance like with the Rangers or you guys at all?
There was, like, outside of town. I think the guys ran into a little bit of resistance as they were rolling in with the vehicles, but I think the Marines did a pretty good job of keeping a fight on the other side of town.
Yeah,
because they were pushed over to the I guess it would be the far east side of town. Had some engagements over there, so I think they drew a lot of the fighters away from that. Yeah. So we were able to slide in there, and we were prepared for the worst, but turned out to be pretty low key.
Yeah. It's a hell of a fucking story. I know what all she went through in her unit at that point was pretty fucking brutal. But what was the rest of that deployment like?
It was good. I mean, we did. We were there through May. Did a lot of missions. Not a lot of firefights, but did a lot of missions. And my 30th birthday there, which was a kind of interesting story. So we at this point we were this is April 23rd. So we'd already done Jessica Lynch. We had moved into BIOP. We were the first C-130s to land there and come flying in and getting shot at with surface air missiles and everything else. And you're stuck in the back of a C-130 with pallets and a couple hundred Rangers, and you can't do shit about it, which is kind of unnerving to a degree. You're just waiting to either die or land, one of the two. Yeah. So we land and get dumped out the back of the C-130, and again, nobody there. It's supposed to be our friends from the agency were supposed to be there to receive us, and there was nobody. So we moved into a hangar, stole some cars, and started working. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking great. Similar story. We ended up stealing a Humvee from the Air Force because we only had 3, and we needed 4 before we went up into Nasiriyah for that. But what kind of cars were they?
Oh, rental cars. Just straight out of the rental. on the other side of the commercial airport, took every car we could, and we stole some trucks with guns in the back of them, and luckily, we had some orange cars, or the big orange flaggings to put on the top of these trucks because they had anti-aircraft truck or guns in the back. And we're like, well, we're gonna get our gear there. We may get shot with some fucking some JDAMs or something. But
so that was your 30th birthday.
So my 30th birthday, we were chasing one of the deck of cards guys in town. So myself and my buddy Jeff, big country guy, we're in one of these rental cars, just daylight, kind of just doing our mission, trying to find this guy. We knew where he was. We were following one of his, for lack of a better term, one of his soldiers around, and they started just hauling ass. They were just fly around the corner, up around the block, just hauling ass. We just parked. Like, obviously they know something's going on. So we just parked and we're sitting there on a call. You know, Jeff's on the radio, he's on a computer, you know, typing up what's going on. And luckily I left the car running. Hopefully my wife doesn't listen to this. But
She probably won't.
yeah, as we're sitting there, I hear a knock at the window and I turn, and this Iraqi's got a fucking 1911 poking in my head.
No shit.
Yeah, he's like, you know, in his, you know, Farsi or whatever Persian, you know, he's like basically telling me to get out of the car. So we're like, okay, hey, hold on. Hey, you can have the car. I don't care. So, and I open the door and he sees my M4 and my body armor and all this stuff. And he's fucking, his eyes light up. It's like, oh shit, I'm trying to steal a car from the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And that gave me enough of an opportunity where he was distracted. So I threw the car in gear and we whipped up about 20 yards, spun around, and him and his buddy were running away and went back there and take care of business. But yeah, that was my 30th birthday.
What was there? Did a part of you want to just fucking smoke him for doing it, or what was?
Oh, we took care of the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not doing that to anybody else. But I mean, so it turned out to be he's just a street thug. Him and his buddy saw a car with a license plate that we got from our friends that was not associated with what it should be.
Yeah.
So basically, he saw the license plate, saw the car, knew it was a stolen car.
Yeah.
So they're going to go steal a stolen car, and didn't really turn out too well for him. But the funny thing is, so we're like, so at this time we're dealing with this. So we call contact. We're like, hey, we got contact, troops in contact. Our other guys are about 2 miles away, down around the block. They're hitting the target, you know, wrapping this guy up, and touchdown on that one. Good target on that one. So we're like, hey, we got this body. They're like, what the fuck you mean you got a body? Like, yeah, we had a contact. We got a body. What does it do with it? Like, we'll bring him back. So we shove him in the damn trunk. Drive him back to the base.
Mafia story.
Yeah, it kind of is. Drive him back to base, and we go to the talk. We're like, well, what do you want us to do with this thing? They're like, fuck, we don't want him. You told me to bring the goddamn thing back. So they're like, oh, take him over to the other side of the base to the agency guys. Yeah. Give them to them. So we drive over there and like, what do you guys want to do? They're like, we don't want that fucking body. I'm like, well, I'm not taking him back over there. So we just pulled him out of the trunk and said, hey, have a good time.
God damn. I mean, I guess what's the reason for not just leaving him there?
It was early enough in the war. They didn't know what they had. They just knew we had troop in contact, so they were going to do bio on them and everything else. And we got back and the story kind of unfolded, and they're like, fuck, we don't want him.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't want him either. He fucking stinks.
God damn. What during that deployment, was that kind of the majority of the type of operations you were still doing a lot of Overwatch stuff, or was it kind of just a hodgepodge?
It was a hodgepodge. I mean, we'd do one night would be a chem bio lab. Next night would be go hit a guy on a deck of cards. You know, I think on that deployment we pulled the guy from the Achille Lara. We grabbed him. That might have been that same guy. But yeah, just like whatever mission came, we were going after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our green guys, we flew into biop and they went across land to hit targets. So we kind of had to run to the show for a little while.
Were there any good deck of cards missions that were successful?
I mean, yeah, we pulled some high level guys out, and nothing really got too sexy or crazy.
What can you share? Say one of them that stands out.
It's probably I think the guy that was responsible for the Achille Lara. I think he was one of those deck of cards guys. So it was nice because he had killed some guys. You know if you remember Steedham, Ken. I think it's Ken Steedham. Yeah. His brother was killed on that.
Yeah.
So it was nice to kind of get some
fucking payback.
Yeah, a little bit of payback. I mean, we didn't kill him, but we still wrapped him up.
Yeah.
He was a bad guy.
What was the premise of how that op went down?
He was on target list. We had some intel where he was probably at. He was at that point. I think he was doing some intel or something for Saddam, so he made the list, and he was one of the few guys that popped up. So we went and got him.
Is there? Can you share kind of how that went down, or is that?
I want to say, my memory's not as good as it used to be, but I think that was the guy they were wrapping up as I was getting the 45 in my brain.
I got you.
Yeah.
For the rest of that deployment, so it was kind of all over the place. Were there any other missions? I know you said none of them were super sexy, but that anything of note kind of took place?
Well, I mean, probably at the very beginning, the first probably 5 or 6 missions we went on, we got shot up every time when the helicopters coming in. So we had 11 gas tanks, and every single one of them had holes in them.
Oh shit!
By the time with the 47s, by the time we flipped them through, and then going into one of them, our crew chief got shot.
Oh, really?
Shot in the head. Yeah. He saw, guys stayed on and saved him, which is good. But
did he recover, or is he fucked up?
No,
oh shit! So you wrap up that deployment.
Yeah, Sean. So Sean, he was here. He was on that aircraft.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
God damn. Was he on the same squadron with
Yeah,
you?
yeah, he was in gold with me.
So when you wrap that deployment up, you go back, and then at that point, was the focus more on Afghanistan, or
It was, yeah. So we were kind of that was '03. At that point, Army's like, hey, we'll take Iraq. You guys have Afghanistan. Because, kind of pulled rank a little bit. Yeah, so went back to that. And then right after that deployment, I had my first kid. So we went right into, we had another deployment lined up. I did half of that one because I had brand new kids. So we just kind of split that one in half.
yeah,
Yeah, it was Iraq for a couple, or Afghanistan for a couple more deployments, and then I did another Iraq back in '07, which is my last deployment with Gold.
yeah. From the deployments that you did going to, we'll say, go back to Afghanistan, were those all similar? Were they totally different, or what were they?
Yeah, I mean, those '03, '04, '05 deployments. '05, late '05, started to get sexy again, but like '03, '04, it was just slow. Like presence patrols, go be out the outstations, just try to find something, some kind of work. Because Afghanistan was pretty quiet.
Yeah,
there was Taliban guys there, and they would do some IEDs, but not like they did. After ISIS guys and Al Qaeda guys kind of ramped up the ID factory in Iraq, and then pushed that over to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So then that started getting really heated up in Afghanistan. So like '05, it really started getting hot again over there.
And what did that consist of once it picked back up? What were you guys doing?
A lot of DAs, a lot of air mission stuff to drop bombs on stuff. It was good. Like '05, '06, I say good, like from our perspective of getting work done.
Yeah.
Just racking up some bodies. It was good.
Can you walk us through a couple of those missions that happened?
Yeah, so one of them, so one of them was, I don't even remember the guy's name. We were hitting a compound. Yeah, this is Afghanistan. Myself and Rat again. We were the sniper team for that troop.
Yeah,
we were over there by ourselves. The rest of the troops were in Iraq. So we were going in, just hitting one, climbing up a wall. And so a typical protocol for us, a lot of times in sniper Overwatch, we would try to get a high ground on something. So we'd climb up the walls with a ladder or something, get over, look, see what's going on in the compound, then let the other guys, assaulters know that they can either blast if they need to or get through the door, whatever it is to get in. So we climbed over, and typical Rat, I climb up the ladder. I'm like, fuck, I can't reach this thing. So he climbs up, gets on top of the wall, pulls me up, and as we pull up over the top, there's two guys right there. So we end up taking care of the problem, and that was like my first real up close encounter with guys. So we took care of that problem. Guys blew it in, kind of went through and kind of cleared it out. So
did you pull a secondary, or did you use your sniper rifle?
Yeah, rifle. Yeah. As I'm bouncing on top of the wall, trying not to fall off, and these guys are waking up, and it's like, God damn, what the fuck? I'm either going to get shot or I'm going to fall down here 12 feet and fucking break my skull.
Or both. I'm going to shoot them and fall off the back wall. What, so was that a 300 Win Mag?
No, that was my Recce M4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What, in terms of kind of how that impacted you, what was there an impact, or was it just kind of
not really? I mean, for kind of the first up and close one, I thought I would kind of feel something else, but it was like, hey, this is my job. These guys have a job to do, and I'm going to vote first and take care of the issue. Yeah. And it really wasn't that much to it. It's like, okay.
Were there some instances where you got some pretty significant Overwatch gun battle type of stuff, or?
Probably more in Iraq. I mean, when we went back to Iraq, that troop plus, we brought another boat crew with us. So we had 3 boat crews and a sniper team and some ranger guys. That one was probably the sportiest because it's like every night. This is '07, probably mid '07, April to July. It was just every night. If it was clear weather, we had a target. Yeah. It got to the point where, from a experience standpoint, it was great. Because we could look at the target, watch what the guys are doing, and almost know what we're walking into. We can judge it pretty good and pick a route in, and we had it down to pretty much of a science to the most part. So we'd roll in, Recce guys would come in first, take care of the quick threat that's up close to them guys, and then the assaulters are going inside out. Like my primary responsibility at that point, I was a team leader, was make sure that the assaulters can get to the problem safely and then get out of the problem safely, which turned into, summertime in Iraq, most of the guys are sleeping outside. So that turned into us taking care of a lot of the problems and getting a lot of gun battles, one-sided gun battles.
Yeah. Were there any kind of shit sandwiches that you guys ran into? Were they either ready for you or like it didn't go
we had
as well?
one. I think this was Afghanistan, but we went in, hit a target, had Ranger guys with us. Pretty quiet target. I think it was 4 or 5 EKIAs, nothing crazy. But as we came in, the 47 had to land inside of a courtyard to get us. And as he landed, it was a shitstorm just started blowing up. It was tracers everywhere, PKMs from 3 different sides, basically pinned us down. So the other 47's flying around with miniguns trying to take care of the problem and dropping JDAMs. And we're just like sitting ducks. Like if we take off, we're going to get shot. And if we sit here, we're going to get shot. So just waiting for a lull as much as we could. And then as fast as we could, lift up and get out of there. And, the 47 took a few rounds, but the guys got hurt. And,
yeah.
But it was like, what the fuck?
When you're flying in a 47, how apparent is it that it's taking rounds?
You can't hear it.
No shit.
No. I mean, in those Iraq things, you didn't even know until you got back and you started like, oh shit, stuff's leaking out over here. They would come over the thing where like, hey, we're taking fire. You can see tracers going around and stuff, but you can't feel them hitting. I mean, the bottom of those 47s they're armored, so you're not getting anything through the bottom, and the gas tanks that run alongside are all self-sealing.
Yeah.
So, outside of a few shots, like the crew chief got shot, he went through the side and got him, but everything else kind of got absorbed on the bottom. Yeah. You don't hear it until you get off, and you're like, oh shit, there's holes everywhere.
Yeah. Would you say that going back to the deployment in Iraq, where you quoted it as being the sportiest?
Yeah. By far the best one.
Yeah. Do you know about how many missions that you went on and how many?
I think we ended up with 75 missions or 75 nights that we went out, and some of those were multiple missions running into each other. So out of our 90 or so nights that we were there on that deployment, if it was clear weather, we were going somewhere.
Yeah. Was there an operation or two that stand out as being the most, the busiest, where you had the most engagement, or you personally engaged the most targets?
Probably the one that stands out probably a couple of them, but one that really stood out is we're going after ID network, Dalton series. There's probably 20 of them that we end up hitting in this region west of Iraq, between Ramadi and Iraq. Nightly missions going in, and we had one target that we were out there, and we're like, we kind of know these guys are in. There's like a series of 4 houses in a mosque, and we had to kind of go through the back and through the tall grass and everything else, and I'm on comms. I've got talking to the squadron, or my troop, talking to all the air assets, kind of make sure we know where we're at. And as we roll into this target, for whatever reason, kind of like my spidey senses, as the assaulters were hitting one target, and me and Rat were supposed to be going around to another side of the target to provide overwatch, because we knew they're probably going to have some guys in the mosque. So we were moving on there. And as I'm running up there, I know I just got the spidey sense, like we're in the wrong spot. So for whatever reason, ISR didn't get the right one. So the assaulters are moving one target. I break off to the right and run right into 3 guys that were running towards us. It's a quick little gun battle. Shoot some guys real quick, and then I'm like, hey, we're over here. Pass the word. And by the time everybody else got up with me, it kind of eliminated those issues. And then we went in and.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah.
So you shot these 3 guys by yourself? Yeah.
I mean, Rat was right behind me. I'm like, Rat, we're in the wrong fucking spot. Get over here. So he's peeling over to get to me, but by that point, I'm coming around the corner, and they're 20 feet in front of me. Yeah.
Were they armed and running straight towards you?
But I mean, luckily, it's nighttime, so I had nods. I could see what was going on. They were just reacting to the sound, running into the building that I was coming around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What rifle did you have on you?
It was my Recce rifle. Yep. Yeah.
You're using a specific round for that?
No, that was our 77 grain Black Hills. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you guys got the fancy ammo. We were still fucking with green tip. There's a big difference between.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. I mean, green tip is terrible for shooting people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it's good for, honestly. I mean, shy of trying to punch through 1/4-inch fucking plates, but
maybe shooting cars, I guess. Maybe
even then, yeah.
Maybe link up a bunch on a saw and just chew up some cars, but yeah. That's like the worst round ever invented for anti-people.
How would you compare the Black Hills 77 to the Buffalo Bore 77?
I don't know. Do you know what they were using? I've never shot those. So the 77 grain Black Hills was I think it was an SMK, Sierra Match King. It was developed for the Army Marksmanship Unit because it shot really well. It was a heavier bullet, shot really well. But for us, what we found on our rifles, the terminal ballistics were good. at least up close.
Yeah.
So that's why we're running that. And that was 05, 06, then we started getting some better rounds developed for that rifle.
Yeah. What, I guess knowing what you know now and what's out now, what would you carry the same? What would you carry as a?
Yeah, I'd carry the same rifle. I mean, I got so much confidence in that rifle. I sadly had to turn it in when I left the command, after 17 years of carrying that thing, and it was one of the last Colt lowers in the inventory.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Did it have a crazy trigger on it?
Yeah, Timney trigger. I mean, it was a great shooting gun. It was John, our master gunsmith that did all our stuff. He built that gun for me.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Tack driver, 16-inch barrel. It was long when you got the suppressor on it, but man, it worked every single time I needed it.
Yeah. What kind of loadout mag wise did you have as a sniper?
It would usually vary, but like when we were hot and heavy in Iraq on that last deployment, I would probably carry 4 or 5 mags.
Yeah. So not the 10 fucking mag.
No,
desert
I mean,
for a loadout.
we weren't patrolling to wait to get shot at like some guys were doing. We were going in for a specific mission, and there was enough of us that if I ever ran out on mag, I would be surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm in a leadership position too, so I'm like, I get some shooting in and some stuff, but then it's like, okay, you guys take care of this. I've got to make sure everything's running right.
On all your deployments with Gold, did you ever lose any teammates on any of those deployments?
No, I didn't. A lot of my friends have died, but none when I was actually there.
Yeah.
We had some guys hurt and stuff, but nothing.
In terms of other sniper missions, or I guess finishing up the one that you started before I derailed us talking about ammo and whatever.
Yeah.
So you smoke these 3 guys. You tell the guy you're with, Rat, that you're in the wrong spot. How did the rest of the mission go?
Well, by the time we took care of those guys, I think Rat got some shots off too. We had known some of the guys that engaged went in the house, and we knew there were some more people out in front of us that I could see. So I was waiting for some backup. So it didn't take long. It seemed like a long time at the time because you got everything going, adrenaline's going. It probably only took a minute before everybody else got over there. They went in and finished clearing that house. I think there were some more shots going on in there, but after that it was pretty non-event. Well, we had Travis slice his finger open trying to punch through a glass door. Like, all right, buddy. Breachers, they're great for a lot of things, but they're not all the tools are sharp.
Not the most surgical.
Yeah, but after that it was. But from just paying attention to what's going on and be like, oh shit, and just reacting to the situation.
Yeah.
It was like that one sticks in my head.
Yeah.
Plus I got all the kills. Those are mine. You guys might have shot them too, but those are mine.
Yeah. Did you keep track of your EKIA total?
I did. That's just like my number for myself. I don't.
You won't talk about it.
It's north of a few and not
south of 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm tracking. Was there ever, a time, I guess, throughout your time, specifically in Gold Squadron, where that just the op tempo and what you were doing and where you were at and all that kind of stuff impacted you negatively?
I think it did over time. I didn't recognize it at the time because I went from there to another squadron for a while and just, we stay on that op tempo for long periods of time. I think probably some of the other guys that stayed in and did a lot more deployments than I did probably had more of an impact. But, luckily in 2015, I was able to go up to NICO and do the National Intrepid Center of Excellence in 30 days, just head to toe body check and straighten things out and figure out what's going on. That was, I don't say life-saving, but definitely was one of the more significant things I've ever done as far as figuring out what was wrong with me, understanding the triggers and understanding what that pace of doing the job for as long as I did really did to me.
What were some of the impacts that looking back on that were taking place that you didn't realize at the time?
Yeah, I was an asshole, and like to the family, to the wife, to the guys. And it's like short temper, drinking way more than I should to be healthy, and just kind of getting into more of a negative space of like, fuck, I got to do another job, and the jobs that kept driving me. So I kept at it, even though it wasn't healthy, and I didn't really realize how bad it was until I took that time off and had people to talk to and see, just from a physiological standpoint, the hormones and the cortisol and everything that's running through your body all the time. You're not designed for that. The fight or flight. Your fight or flight method is only supposed to go for short periods. 30 seconds to a couple minutes, and then you kind of ramp back down. I think they call it operator fatigue now. They got a name for it, but we were essentially a race car in the red for years and years and years, and it's terrible for you.
Yeah.
No sleeping and
Yeah. Have you reconciled with the family at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Now, luckily we're still together. We made it through one of the few that stayed together. I think we've been married for she'll kill me.
I think
22 years now.
Yeah.
They're coming up on 22. This will be 22 here on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's an easy anniversary.
Yeah.
At least,
we
right?
picked a good date, but we're good now. But and
how about
she knows that I'm fine if she sees stuff, and she can tell when if I'm starting down that path of negativity and everything else. I mean, I don't drink very much anymore, and that's been big. Trying to righten the ship and getting physically healthy again, and getting my hormones straightened out. She'll not be shy of like, hey, you're an asshole. Fucking shut up. I got on my daughter the other day because she's a swimmer. I'm a swim coach, so I'm like, here's what you did wrong. I'm in coach mode when I'm watching her, and she's like, just be your dad. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
How I'm curious how it was. I was talking with Jason on this last interview. We were talking about the impact that lifestyle has on kids, but more specifically is that how they interpret who their dad is, what they do, and what the job is, and whatever. What kind of impact did that have on yours?
I think I was probably lucky in the fact that I had my oldest in 2003, so right in the heat of a lot of my combat deployments. Then the next one about a year and a half later. So by the time they got old enough to really realize, like, hey, dad's going to do bad shit, I was kind of phasing out of it. So by the time they realized, like, hey, this is dangerous, especially after like 2011 when Extortion 17, because that was my troop. Like everybody on the aircraft I worked with, to the point. Some of the new guys maybe not, but so once that happened, they saw that. They were old enough at that point to realize like what was going on, and dad's going to funeral after funeral after funeral, and like what that impact was. I was honest. I'm telling them. I don't hide anything from them. So at that point, I was kind of phasing out a little bit from those deployments. So it was good.
The Extortion 17 thing, if we can visit that for a second. That was your troop. That was
the troop. That was Gold 2 troop. That's where I was at.
So you knew every fucking one of those guys.
Just about. Well, I knew all except for the brand new guys. So Rat was on there. Rat was one of my team guys. That whole troop was there with mine in Iraq for my last deployment with them. In 07, that was a few years before, but
Is there? Do you have the ability to describe the feeling that you experienced when you found out of that? I mean, was it?
I don't know. It was just like, because I was home. I just came back from Africa on a deployment, so I was home. Those guys had just left to go over there, so I was home on leave doing my thing, and I got a call from one of the guys. They're like, "Hey, did you see the news?" I'm like, "No, I'm fucking home. I don't watch the news." And he told me over the phone what was happening. My first reaction was like, "Well, everybody?" He's like, "Yeah, everybody, the entire troop." It's just gut wrenching.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a number of the guys on there, but that's very different from that being your former troop. And
I look back at pictures too, and like I see Robbie Reeves and Heath and like all those. Man, I can remember like that Iraq deployment. I can remember, Robbie just a fucking character. Everything's funny with him, and he's just that sense of humor. And Johnny Foss is just a fucking solid dude.
I did a platoon with Matt Mills. I don't know if you ever worked with him, but or if he was one of the newer guys.
He was one of the newer guys. Well, newer. I came in after I left Gold, but just
I mean,
every one of them to a T were just all fucking good dudes.
I am curious. I mean, looking at it just realistically, the logistics of the devastation that or toll that took on that squadron and that command. How do you fucking recover from that?
I don't know if you ever do. I mean, we did the best job we could as far as like, I would say from a command perspective, dealing with, that kind of Keiko drill at that level, they did awesome. They got a team all together. Every family had a team. Every family had one of their friends was a rep for that family. They did about as good as you could expect for dealing with that, for dealing with the situation. And then on the backside, the team guys, it was like, everybody's hands up like, "I'll fucking go over there." Yeah, like, we need people to go backfill these guys, and everybody had, was like standing in line to get on deployment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember going to that memorial and to Matt's funeral specifically,
Yeah.
But it's just it's
Yeah,
hard.
because all those guys would be in leadership positions now.
Yeah, hard to wrap your mind around
Yeah.
that one. Do you, I guess, take into consideration any of some of the bullshit that you see in the media, or whether you call it a conspiracy theory or not, of that it was a fucking inside job,
No.
like,
I
or how do you even respond to that? I mean,
just it's combat. Enemy has a boat. They got a good shot, and guys fucking died. It's just shit happens, and there's.
Do you think that the fact that it was not a TF-160 bird, and did that play a role in it?
I don't want to put any blame on those guys, but I know they don't fly the same as the TF-160 guys, so they're going to be slower. They're going to be lower. It just makes it an easier target. I mean, shit, a 47 is huge. I mean, if you picture a school bus driving by at 30 miles an hour, and you got a fucking RPG at 100 yards, if that, it's not that hard of a shot.
Yeah.
And if you shoot enough of those RPGs, you can eventually figure one out, and it gets lucky. I mean, shit, we've had helos hit with RPGs that just didn't go off before.
Yeah. In terms of retribution on just the U.S.'s side in general to where that took place, it was pretty significant, wasn't it? I mean, after that happened, didn't they go in and just...
Yeah, they kind of went in to make sure they cleaned out as much as they could.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's like trying to weed out rats and cockroaches. Once they drop their guns and drop everything else, you can't really prove that they're a bad guy.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of blending in.
Yeah. Do you have any details as far as that goes of ensuring that they got the guy that did it or anything?
I didn't. I mean, as much as I wanted to go back over there to kind of help right the ship from the guys, I had another job, and they're like, "You're going to stay here and help with this stuff, and we need you somewhere else." So.
Yeah. So speaking of that other job, so now that's when you go over to Black Squadron, right?
Yeah. At that point, I was in Black, kind of running a lot of some cool stuff and a lot of just stupid shit with State Department. I mean, just part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Everybody plays their part.
Yeah. I want to focus on the really stupid shit, the boring stuff. No.
Oh God. It's the State Department. Anybody that's interested in kicking ass, stay away from the State Department.
No, I'm just being a smart ass. In terms of some of the cool shit, I know some of that is not, you're not able to really talk about it. Is there any that you can, and if so, what is that?
Well, I was doing, so I was in Black. So this is prior to Extortion, but I was in Black doing some work, and that's when Captain Phillips came up. I just happened to luckily be stationed over in part of Africa that was close to where Captain Phillips was. I had a small team. I think we had I had 3 SEALs, myself. Jonas Kelsall was over there kind of running things from an officer standpoint. A couple Army guys, a couple Air Force guys, and we were out. I was with one other guy. We were down in another country, and the boss calls me. He's like, "Hey, are you watching news?" Again, watching news. I'm like, "Fuck, I'm in a goddamn third world country. No, I'm down here doing
trying to jerk off, and you're fucking with it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to have a good time here." Yeah. But he called me. He's like, "Check out the news." I'm like, "First, do you want me to come back?" Because it's like 8:00 at night in another country. I'm like, "I'm not flying tonight anyway, regardless, unless they send a bird to get me." Like, no, there's nothing we can do at this point. He says, watch the news. Watch the news and come back to the hotel and kind of see what's going on. Got fired up our mobile system and kind of get caught up as much as I could. So next morning, first airplane we could get out of there, flew back up to base and got debriefed with the boss at the embassy, and he said go, and we grabbed the team, and kind of a hassle to get from the city we were in to the airport that closes down, no flights after dark, and we got there kind of at dark, traffic and everything else, it's just a pain in the ass. Got there dark, jumped on one of our birds, flew to a forward staging base. From there, got our parachutes and got everything else, and thankfully the aircraft we were on is completely set up for radar and ISR and comm, so we were getting live updates as much as we could, and we basically had one shot to jump in, and before we were either out of gas or they were out of range. And as things would happen, we got out there, and it's a typical thunderstorm over the Indian Ocean in the middle of summer, right? So it's clouds, and we could see kind of where the ship was at, and then Matt, my Air Force guy, was talking to the ship. These guys had never done a night jump never recovered parachutes out of the, so we're talking through emails, telling them how to do this thing, how to set up the boats in the wind and everything else. And pilot's like, hey, there might be an opening coming up, but we've got about 3 minutes on station, 5 minutes maybe on station before we got to turn around. And luckily we had just enough of a gap in the clouds to see a ship. And so I said, go. We jumped out, and luckily once we broke through the clouds, and we were actually where we were supposed to be. So got lucky on a lot of fronts that everything worked out. But we got out there and got on the ship, and as an E8, and Jonas was it might have been 04 at that point, 03, 04, young 04 if he was 04. We climb on the ship, and the captain's like, what do you guys want us to do? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, my orders were, you guys are running the ship.
No shit.
Yeah. So, as an E8, and, luckily I tell this, going back, I tell all of my new students or candidates, I'm like, hey, always treat everybody in the military with respect, because you never know when you're going to run across them. Just so happens the guy that was the master chief of the boat was the guy I was in boot camp with.
No shit.
Boot camp or SEAL Team 4, one of these, like a tech.
Yeah.
I climb over the boat. He's like, Terry, are you fucking shitting me? So he's like,
the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah,
the fuck are you doing here?
He's like, what do you need? I'm like, well, we sort of running off things. I was like, give me the update. What's going on? So I was on the Bain Bridge and just kind of dealt with the situation as much as we could. And it was interesting because I had no idea how to hostage negotiate. So we had an interpreter with us, and we were on the phone with the FBI back in New York, kind of trying to negotiate with these guys. We could see where Captain Phillips was at this point. He'd already jumped off one time, so they had him kind of tied up. So we did a pseudo mission out there, give him some food and some water just to kind of confirm where Captain Phillips was and see where he's at in the boat. Because on that lifeboat, for anybody that hasn't seen this thing, there's windows at the top, and that's it. Like a little cubby on top, and you can't see anything else underneath. So we got in there and gave him some food, some water, some cigarettes, and kind of figured out where Captain Phillips was. And then it was turned into like cat and mouse. They were trying to get to the shore. We couldn't let them get to the shore because once they got to the shore, it completely changed the complexity of what we're doing. So we would push them back with the ship. The Bain Bridge is a big ass fucking ship, so that little lifeboat was a lot more mobile. So they get around, and then eventually we got in a rib and kind of were chasing them down, putting them back. They would shoot at us. We fucking couldn't shoot back because we didn't know what the fuck we were shooting at. And then eventually we got the Halliburton to launch a helicopter and use the helicopter prop wash to kind of spin them around and push them back out to sea.
Were they not trying to shoot the helicopter?
No, I mean, fucking Somalis, they didn't know what the fuck they're doing. All they wanted to do is get their prize and get back to shore so they can get some more cot. And they were, they're out of cot, so they're fucking losing their mind. They're kind of going with withdrawals and all that shit. Like can you imagine most dippers go to when they start?
Yeah, times 1,000.
Yeah, times 1,000. So.
Yeah. Well, for those listening, so cot is an opioid-based chewing tobacco-like substance that a lot of the men in a lot of Middle East countries get all fucked up on, and by dinner time, half the fucking population is high as a fucking kite.
Yeah, nothing, you can't get anything done.
Yeah, so that was the biggest driving force. How close did you guys get when you did the food and cig delivery?
Oh, I mean, we were
right there with them.
Yeah, right there.
And they didn't try anything fucking squirrely, and you guys didn't.
No, I mean, and we were in our Navy uniforms, we borrowed some uniforms and stuff, so. We had weapons in the boat with us, but we were not going to try to do anything. We just wanted to see what was going on, try to confirm that he was good, where he's at, how many guys are on the lifeboat and everything else.
Yeah.
Thinking back, could we have done anything? Maybe, but they had AKs and they were already ready to go by the time we got something. Just odds weren't in our favor.
Yeah.
So we did this for about a day and a half, I think, until Red came in and saved the day. If you watch the movie or read in the books, they're the ones that saved the day, but. Inside story is we were there way before those guys, but yeah, it was funny because as I'm talking to the captain and they're flying over, he's like, okay, what do you got, Terry? What's going on? You got to give him the updates, and he's like, okay, we'll be there in like 12 hours or whatever it was, and they jump in and they get over there, and he's okay, Terry. So what's I don't even remember. Fucking, it's like 4 days I didn't get any sleep. It's like, okay, what do you need? I'm like, just send me like 6 snipers, and it's pretty calmed down by now. We can kind of figure out what's going on. It's like, okay, it's a good idea. We're going to send a squadron or send a troop over. And I knew it was coming. Like, there's no way in hell they're going to let Jonas and myself run this thing when you got a whole squadron sitting over there. So those guys came over. I told the guys, I'm like, okay, we did turnover. Told them what's going on. Jay Bird and his guys, I'm like, hey, it's yours. We're going to get some sleep because we've been fucking run off fumes. And for whatever reason, I decided to, slept for a couple hours, got up. I started walking through the back to through the like the helicopter area, and like I was gonna grab my gun just in case, go see what's going on. I got out the back, and at that point it was just about time to get the game on. There's a lot of stuff that went in between there, but we got paired up with one of the red snipers, and like, okay, you guys got this guy, you guys got this guy, and you guys got that guy. If we ever get a chance to get 100% confirmed that we can do it, get them all one shot, we'll do it. And we played the cat and mouse, like the old video game, or not the video game, but the like smack the weasel, one would pop up,
whack-a-mole.
Yeah, whack-a-mole. It's like one would pop up and two would go down. It's like, God damn it. And two would pop up and then one would go. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah. So I would love to get into a little bit of the complexities of that shot or set of shots in particular. And you like most team guys have a tendency to brush over a lot of the finite details, but
yeah,
to me, like,
I should probably let the mythology of the underway sniper shot that's 1,000 yards fucking.
Well, I mean, to me, all of the circumstances piled together create a pretty ridiculous scenario to be able to pull that off. And if you could kind of walk, imagine a lot of the people listening right now have never been on a Navy ship. Yeah. Have no idea what sniper operations are. So if you could kind of set it up from like the 30,000 foot view first, and then kind of walk through the action zone.
Yeah, so I guess if you want to imagine something, like the back of the whirlpool. When the whirlpool's going, bubbles going everywhere, that's what the back of a ship looks like when it's going underway. And we're probably like 15, 20 knots. We're moving, but it's not crazy. So you got the waves coming in. It's Indian Ocean, so you got waves anyway. So what we did is we were able to get them to tie on and pull them underway because they were out of gas, and again they're losing their mind with their cot and everything else. We got them underway. At this point, we'd already had one of their guys that got hurt on the boat with us, so we knew there was 3 guys in there. And as night falls, what we started doing is slowly cranking them in. So we had them underway. They started a couple hundred yards behind us, what it was, 100 yards or what it was. So we slowly kind of pull them in to where they're, I don't know, like 35, 50 yards behind us at this point. So now they're underway, and where they are in a wake, it's still enough to keep them moving and keep them sick and just generally be a bad day for them. Yeah. Because what we were trying to do is drive them to come up and get fresh air. So we would do that, and it eventually kind of moved them in. And when I went out, the squadron, Chris and those guys had them lined up like, okay, here's snipers. They're all paired up. Everybody was paired up with one of the bad guys, and we would be on comms and lasers and everything else.
So at that point, did you know like who's who? Like were the bad guys labeled like this is bad guy 1?
Well, we knew there was 2 in the pilot house that would trade positions in, and one guy up front that would pop up every now and then. So there was a hatch in the very bow of the lifeboat that was open, and one guy would pop up there, and then he would go down, and then the steering wheel for the lifeboat's up in that little cockpit pilot house. So now it was all surrounded by plexiglass, so you could see it. So we would see 2 guys back there, and then the guy up front, and we just transfer off. So Jeff and his guy had the guy up front. Myself, Clint had this guy, and then the other pair had the other guy. We were just talking like, okay, here are my guys up. We have lasers on, so we had night vision, they didn't, so we could have lasers on. We would put lasers on anytime we saw the guy. I'm like, okay, ready. No, we don't. We're not set up. So this went on for seems like a while before it was like, oh shit, my guy's up, and everybody's like, hey, we're red, we're good. Let's So then we got the countdown and.
So all 3 guys were above the hatch.
Yeah, the guy in the front was up. Had his chest up out of the hatch, and the 2 guys in the wheelhouse were sitting there so you could see their heads. And yeah.
And so what was the count? Well, 2 things. How was the setup on the? Were you guys on the fantail?
Yeah, we were on the fantail, around the back of the boat.
Ship.
Yep.
And there was three sniper pairs. Were you guys like laying right next to each other? Or was it?
Pretty close. Like so, the 2 pairs that had the guys in the wheelhouse, we were right next to each other. So we were talking on comms, but we were also right there talking to each other. And then the other guys were off to our right, which would be the port side of the ship, to the guy that had a better angle at him. But yeah, we were just set up there, and there were some assaulters there too. I don't know if they ever shot or not, but
so they were all like, you guys were all just prone on the back of a ship, fucking guns pointed at these assholes.
Prone, just waiting, and it was like a damn stadium, and everybody was out there.
Yeah, a bunch of the crew from the ship and everything, or what?
I don't know about them. I didn't really pay attention to them. They stayed out of our way for the most part. They made a great job, man. Everybody on the ship was awesome, but
yeah.
It was like you got a whole troop of guys, squadron guys out there just.
So I'm imagining so that's like 30 some dudes, right?
Well, a troop at that point, so we had 2 teams and their sniper team. So there's probably 20 of us total out there. Yeah.
But to me, like, I can't help but feel that there had to have been some sense of going back to day 1 of boot camp when you're standing behind the masking tape on the pisser floor line saying fucking piss, and you're like, I can't piss when you're that many dudes, that kind of pressure staring, like that had to add to it, right? You got a whole squadron of motherfuckers standing behind you, like.
But I mean, at this point, shit, I'd already had, I don't know, 15 or not 15, but 10 deployments.
Yeah.
Plenty of firefight. I mean, so shooting a gun at a target was.
But I guess just with your boys fucking standing there watching, like.
I've probably only been awake for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I woke up and get my gun, walk out there, look, I have my shit on, and Chris was like, hey, lay down here. You can help with this guy.
Yeah. What gun was that?
That was a 416.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did everybody have that, or was it a mixed match?
I think most people did because everybody jumped in, so we didn't pull any long guns or anything crazy.
Yeah. Do you know about what range it was? I'm right around 1,000.
Probably, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good 2 miles, like the Canadian guys. It's like, it was 5,000 meters. I'm like,
5,000 meters.
Yeah. They get it's like the running joke in the sniper world. They've got all the world records for sniper shots.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're just fucking launching rounds at the mountainside and somebody fell down.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. No, he was probably like, I shouldn't pop the burst the bubble 50 yards or so, somewhere in there, 50, 75 maybe. Yeah. It's hard to tell at night sometimes.
Yeah. So, but it was at night.
Yeah.
You guys were on nods with lasers.
Yeah.
But to me,
it wasn't. I don't think to me it wasn't a difficult shot.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Yeah. It was the fucking hardest shot of my life.
Yeah. Wait, edit this.
Yeah. Let me get this 1,000-yard stare.
Well, I mean, to me, there's a factor there though that I
there is. I don't think we're moving, the lifeboat's moving, you got waves going by, everything's moving.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I guess because we train at such a level all the time that like I find my target and I'm tracking my target, and I pay attention to what I'm doing, and I'm not worried about what other people are doing because I know they're going to do their job as well.
Yeah.
I just got to carry my own weight.
Yeah. All right. So it's middle of the night. All 3 of these motherfuckers are presenting themselves. You guys are queued up. You do the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like from 10 or 5?
No, just regular 3, 2, 1 execute, like typical.
And in terms of the shots, I mean, did they all go pretty much at the exact same time?
Yeah, I mean, it was fast.
Yeah, like no stagger at all.
I don't recall any. It was like shot, and I double tap. I went double tap, and I'm like, by the time I was done and my guy fell, I'm like, there was all quiet.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like the gravity of how big of a deal that was, and for me, to be able to sit here and have one of the guys that did that tell the fucking story is pretty special, man. Like, I mean, it's an honor to. To sit here and have you.
Well, it's funny.
Like
everybody asked me about Captain Phillips. I'm like, well, you saw me in the movie, right? Yeah. Like the big, tall, good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Like
6'4", fucking 230.
Like even in the book, like our whole, and it's sad because the main squadron got all the recognition. So like my handful of guys, like ragtag group of guys, didn't get a lot of recognition back at the command. Guys knew we were there, but didn't really know
that you guys were the ones that actually did it.
Well, I mean. When it came to finally resolving, that was a squadron. I just happened to be there as well. I don't think the rest of my guys, they were there watching it, but they didn't participate in the shooting side of it. But if we weren't there, before the squadron got there, then those guys would have made landfall or something else would have happened. So we played a pretty critical role in that whole situation.
Yeah. No, it's
in my mind, right?
No, for sure. I mean, it's fucking awesome. How were your guys that were there racked out at that time? Were they pissed that it went down without them?
I think every one of them at that point was out there because you kind of get a feeling on a boat like, hey, something's going on.
Yeah.
Even if nobody comes and says it. So I'm pretty sure everybody was there. I guess in the audience.
Yeah. I mean, were they pissed that they didn't get?
No.
At that point, everybody's done it so many times. It's all the same shit, or.
Well, and then everybody's got the role, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, we got precision shots. I don't know if any of the soldiers shot they might have to because I was just focusing on my guy, but
yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows the role, and it's not like you're missing out on not shooting a guy.
Yeah, no, it's a cool fucking story, man. After that, what was that like? So,
well, the after was actually, from my perspective, pretty cool because we pulled Captain Phillips on, made sure everything was taken care of, and then crime scene, all that stuff because international is kind of a mess on that side because we're not used to. That was kind of our first time of really doing something outside of a declared theater of combat.
Yeah.
So where we would go and just kind of prosecute a target and get the intel, we kind of fucked it up a little bit because it like from a chain of custody of the all the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
That's not our job, right? From the military side. So when we turned it over to the FBI guys, they're like, "Oh man, you didn't really screw us over, but here's some stuff that you could have done better." But it was cool. So we brought Captain Phillips on, did an interview, got him medically checked out. Then after we spent about a day there on the Boxer and everything else and getting him medical checked and crime scene, all that kind of stuff, we went back on the main bridge. It was my team because we were going back to Africa. Everybody else was staying on the Boxer and going wherever they're going. And we had Captain Phillips with us for the ride back. So I spent another 2 or 3 days with him.
Did he give every one of you guys hand jobs, or how did that happen?
I tell you, it was funny because when we first pulled up with passing off some food and water to these guys, and he's in the back and he's kind of stressed out and everything else, and we're like talking loud enough that he can hear us. We're like, "Hey, Captain Phillips, it's okay. Hey, some of the guys from Virginia were here." I think that's all we said. And you could just see his demeanor. He just like shifted to like, "Oh, the guys from Virginia are here." like you could see recognition that he knew he was going to be okay.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
If we can take one step back, right after you did the shots, what happened immediately after that? Like, did you?
I mean, as soon as the shots went down, I look to the right and I see one of our guys. He's just crawling down just like we do the slide for life. He's slide for life and right down to the boat, jumps in the thing with his handgun because he had to make sure everybody was safe, right? Because we shot guys and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Like shit. So Jeff jumped in there and made sure everything's good. And then we had target
awesome.
secure. It's like, okay, good. Radio calls, everything's, stop the ship, everything stops, and then launch the rib to go pull everything out.
So at that point, did he stay in there with Captain Phillips once?
Yeah. Once, just like anything, once we get our target, we're on, we're protecting that target no matter what. I mean, the guys are dead, but we're still holding on to it until we get them back onto the ship.
Yeah. What have you talked to him, or did he give any synopsis on what that? Excuse me. Fuck, sorry. Did he give any direction, I guess, as to how the interaction when he first fucking went into that capsule? What
a little bit. I mean, granted, at this point he'd been kind of in that scenario longer than we were, and worn out and tired and everything else, and then just the stress level of being a hostage and getting shot at in the water, like all the stuff that he went through. But on the ride back to Africa, to the coast, him and I got to hang out for quite a bit. We were playing board games like Monopoly or just kind of de-stressing a little bit. And I got him on the phone call with our psych, and he walked him through some stuff, and you could see him kind of just relax and open up. And but right after that, he came down to Virginia for the reunion. So I got to meet his wife, and
that's cool.
Yeah, he got to meet my wife and the kids, and we hung out for probably a couple hours and just
that's awesome.
Just kind of hanging out like friends.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to rationalize even what must have been going through his mind. I mean, it's one thing when you sign up for that, you train for it, it's
I mean, it's stressful from us as the operator, right? When it's going on, and then taking a different perspective, somebody that never trains for that. My job is driving a ship, and then be thrown into that situation. I think he did pretty good. He tried to get away when he could, and kept himself alive, right? And kept his crew alive. So I mean, from just a straight up civilian worker, I don't think you could have done much better. Yeah, unless you would have done like Steven Seagal and so like breaking necks in there or something.
I'm assuming you've read the book, watched the movie, or what did you think of how it depicts?
I thought it was good because it didn't really get into us as much. You never know, right? Because then Hollywood gets involved, and that's another one. The Squadron, I never got the phone call to go out the ship when they were making a movie. I was on deployment. I heard about it afterwards, but I'm not negative at all about that. No hard feelings, guys.
No bitterness.
But no. But I thought the book was good, the movie was good, because it didn't really focus on us. The story was about him and the situation and everything else. There was parts of it in there, but
I guess most importantly is do you feel that that you guys, the mission you did, how you did it, was accurate and respectful?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of detail. At least, I mean, granted, my memory's not great after getting blown up a couple times, but yeah, I didn't see anything when I read the movie or read the book and watched the movie that jumped out like, God, I wish I wouldn't have put that in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was, less on us I don't think there's any tactics in there at all, really.
Yeah. So after that, you it took some time to get back. What happened after that? Like once you got back?
I turned into, for some reason, like the underway hostage expert. So as we hit the coast, our German friends were dealing with a similar situation with one of their ships. So I went and kind of liaison with them for probably 3 or 4 days, kind of walking through how we did it and what happened and kind of stuff to think about.
Yeah.
And kind of I didn't do anything with them, but just kind of as liaison with them while they're planning.
Yeah, advise them. Did did the outcome?
I don't think they ever actually went and hit anything.
Yeah.
I think they were planning, and then it turned into more of a ransom type thing.
That shit boggles my
mind.
mind.
I could be wrong. They might have went to dinner, but
yeah. From there, did you continue to do more shit like that, or did you end up going?
That was probably like from, as far as Black Squadron goes, probably the most exciting one that actually had some consequences and repercussions and stuff. So it was good, and because a lot of stuff that we did never made the light of day, which is good. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. We're not the flashy guys that are going in and doing DAs and killing ID makers and hostage rescue stuff. That's not what we do. But yeah, I mean, it was productive. It was good. Yeah, for sure.
Is there any other ones you can share from that time?
Probably not. I mean, some of the stuff we did was significant in the progression of Somalia and everything else, but let's kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, I got you. Once you left there, is that where you retired out of, or?
No, so that first in Black was 4 deployments. I think it was 4 deployments, and I went to our sniper shack and did that for about a year or so, helping with the training and gear development and stuff for the squadrons, giving back a little bit, and then I got asked to come back and do a troop leader's position in Black, so I went back up there again for another couple of years.
Yeah. And were you a master chief at that point?
No, I made master chief after that troop position, and then once I put 9 on, I kind of volunteered myself to go do that Chicago job and get away from the madhouse for a little bit.
Was the emotion involved in kind of where you were at mentally a driving force in that? Like, did you need to do that?
Because I made master chief while I was in NICO.
Yeah.
So it was a good time for self-reflection and kind of the long-term picture, like where do I need to go? What's healthy for me? What's healthy for the family?
Yeah.
Made 9 up there. Knew I was probably about done at the command as far as what I wanted to do and where they wanted me to be. So I kind of took that position at prep to for a lot of reasons. One, it gets me close to the family and kind of a nice little off ramp. At this point, I'd already been in for 23 years or so. So it was good. Yeah. And I didn't even realize how bad off I was from like a work standpoint.
Yeah.
So I get up to prep and it's show up at 7 and kids go home at 3, and that's really all there is. It's like a 7 to 3 job.
Yeah.
I would show up at 5.
Stay till 9.
Yeah, stay till 5, 6 o'clock, and I just could not force myself not to be in the office, even though I didn't really have anything to do.
Yeah.
And like staff's like, Master Chief, what do you need? You need help with anything? I'm like, no, I just can't go home.
Yeah.
So it was I'm glad I did that up there, because if I went straight from dev group to retirement, I don't know where I'd be.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. You mentioned you got blown up a couple times. When you were at NICO, did they evaluate you?
TBIs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got 6 confirmed TBIs.
No shit.
Yeah. But I mean, by no means that's even close to some of the guys.
Yeah. What impact does that have on you, or has?
I don't know if it was as much between the TBIs, the drinking, or the combination. Therefore, like, my memory is fucking shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to recall a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're digging some of the stuff out of me because you're making me think about it. But if I was just going to tell the Captain Phillips story from start to finish without questions in between, I'd probably be done in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds familiar, huh?
Yeah, one, I mean, either glossing over stuff that I don't think is important or that interesting because it's just part of the job, to just not remember the details.
Yeah.
So that's probably like the the biggest impact for me.
Yeah.
And some of the like the word finding recognition, as if we don't edit too much, you'll notice I'm having a conversation and I kind of get stuck on what like the words are up here, but they're just not coming out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know it's a huge part of a lot of guys in this line of work that deal with that. How many times were you blown up?
I don't know. Well, I mean, in close proximity to, I say blown up. I mean, I was probably only really blown up once that I know of getting knocked out. That was Rat and I again. Like a lot of this weird shit comes up when Rat's involved. Yeah. But we were down working with Kansoff guys, hitting a target, and him and I climbed up on a wall, and I don't know if it was their charge that went off, or something else that went off right underneath me, but it just fucking knocked me off, and I fell down and woke up a little bit later. And they told me kind of what happened, but yeah.
Were there any instances of enemy IEDs that rattled you hard, or was it all your own guys
in the area for some IEDs, but I didn't get hit by any. No. Yeah. And we had one. I threw a picture up on IG one time. We had the Tacoma, so early. So this would have been 2002. That
like the Hilux.
No, the old Hiluxes, the D4D, the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing that those mountain missions early in September, and we had one after they dropped us off. The guys are leaving, and some of those roads up there they run right along the side between the river bottom and the mountainside. The guys are driving by one. IED blew it up. They rolled down the hill, flipped it over, started it back up, and took off.
No shit.
And it's just fucking rattled.
God damn.
Nobody. I mean, guys got banged up a little bit, but nobody got like seriously hurt, which I can't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got back to base. I was like, what the fuck happened to that? Like, oh yeah, right after we dropped you off, we got hit with an ID.
God damn.
It's like, Jesus.
Were there any close calls in all of the operations that you did where, like, you took rounds in your helmet or body armor or grazed you or got super fucking close?
I got some frag and stuff, but nothing. Never. I mean, I shot at. Probably closer than I think, but yeah, nothing.
Nothing too fucking crazy.
No.
The shrapnel that you still have, or
I was at.
Well, shit, that sounds like a story in and of itself.
Yes, I got hit. Was in a grenade behind me, and so I got shrapnel kind of right by my tailbone.
No shit.
Yeah, most of it worked off. This was early, like that 2002 deployment, I think, somewhere in there. But
what were the circumstances that led to
it? Just something went off behind me for whatever on some target. I don't even remember what it was now, but it didn't feel bad at the time. Like, oh fuck, that kind of burned a little bit. Then I got back, and Air Force guys like pulled a couple pieces out, and I'm like, okay, cool. Fuck. A couple more pieces came out a few years later, and then I was at the chiropractor about a year ago, and they do your X-rays. He's like, oh, you play BB guns when you were a kid? I'm like, well, yeah, but what are you talking about? So he showed me the little piece of shrapnel still in there. So I still got a little piece of Afghanistan with me.
Yeah, maybe you'll shit it out one day. It's right there in the tailbone.
I figured if it hasn't gone out now in 18 years, it's probably.
Yeah, that's a fucking
I'll take that one with me.
Yeah. I had Mike Day on. And he's got some fucking stories. He's got a bunch of shit. And he even showed me a video of like, this was not that long ago, where he was on the tailgate of a fucking truck, like at lunch.
Just like scraping shit out of him.
Well, it was in his fucking, it was like right by his belly button, where there was a corpsman that fucking sliced him open and they were squeezing it out like a zit. It was like, and it was one of the fucking rounds. I was like, Jesus Christ.
He got there like 27 times or something.
Yeah.
There's no way he should be alive.
No, I know it. Yeah. I mean, he's got, it's a crazy story. Yeah. But in terms of kind of going back to the NICO stuff, any like nightmares or PTSD or anything like that you experience?
Yeah. I mean, I still do to a degree, but that program was good. Yeah, it straightened out a lot. I mean, I've got, technically by the Navy standard, I got PTSD, but I understand what my triggers are. And
can you talk about that a little bit? Like what they are, if you're comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, so for me personally, like in crowded spaces, that in around people that I don't know, in crowded spaces when there's a lot of shit going on, noise, like concert type stuff, I won't even do that.
Yeah.
Movie theaters, not really anymore that much, especially if it's, I don't go watch war movies or anything like that. It's just not good for me. So those kind of things. And one of the weird ones, like driving at night when it's raining, it just fucking freaks me out.
Really?
And I have no idea where that came from, but like between the wipers going off, the rain on the windshield, I can't see good, the glare from the lights, it just I fucking freak out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not a fucking doctor, a psychologist, whatever, but to me, the common denominator with all those is like sensory overload.
Yeah, sensory overload and not being in control, which is weird because, you know, we thrive in chaos, right? You know, we're comfortable in the chaos and understanding what's going on, and it's almost like a necessity.
Yeah.
To a degree when we're operating, that we have a lot of shit going on, but
yeah. Well, so I think it's a two-part problem. Again, you know, don't fucking listen to me, but I've got plenty of theories, right? Is that, you know, there's an element of, you talked about it earlier, right? Where it's fight or flight. That mechanism, when it's overblown, you know, over and over and over to the point where, you know, it essentially destroys your fucking adrenal glands.
Yeah.
You know, which is ultimately going to fuck your hormones up and lead to more of that. To me, there should be far more nutrition-based components to NICO and to exfilling out of the military when it comes to, you know, guys like you that have done that for that fucking long, that clearly are going to have, you know, some of the biological processes that your body possess fucked up. You know, and to me, like, I'm not saying that it would necessarily repair everything, but I know that cortisol and adrenals and lots of caffeine and shitty sleep and you know, dovetailed onto a career like that, you know, there's a lot of little things, whether it's vitamin supplementation or again, cutting way the fuck back on caffeine that can help with a lot of that stuff. They talk any about that at all?
They do, especially like on the alcohol side, caffeine side, substance type side, they do. I'm trying to think if they covered too much on nutrition.
I mean, just basic vitamin and mineral deficiency that most people possess.
I did go through a program this summer for Virginia High Performance, VHP. I don't know if you know Alex Oliver.
I don't.
Team guy, but he's out now and he runs a fucking awesome program. So it's 30 days. You get a personal trainer, 2 workouts a day. You get a nutritionist that makes all your meals for you and goes through everything, does your blood work, top to bottom. And coming through that, between that and NICO, man, I
life changing,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. In terms of, you said you did have nightmares.
Yeah.
Do you still at all?
Not too much anymore. I still do from time to time, but it's usually stress related, like a lot of stress going on or something else, or something brings back a memory of the guys. I think I've done a pretty good job of coming to terms with the guys we lost. Yeah. You know, the friends we lost. You know, it's been a while now, and between talking to kids and talking to wives and seeing guys and friends and telling us like this, you know, we're going to be going down doing a hunt down here in Texas here for a few days, and we got a few team guys. So, you know, sharing the stories around the campfires is very therapeutic for me.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, it is. Do you mind sharing kind of, is there a typical or general correlation nightmare wise, like they're kind of all the same, or is it just totally random?
Usually kind of random. And it's typically either around my kids being in a threatful situation, or guys, you know, remember the guys being not necessarily on a specific mission, but seeing the guys and being in a position that I can't make the right call.
Yeah.
Like I can see it. I want to say what to go on, you know, or, you know, you get to someone's run, you're like, I'm trying to run, but I can't run. Like I'm trying to make a decision and make a call, and I can't.
Yeah.
It's usually around something like that.
Like a helplessness.
Yeah. Kind of like I know I can help, but I can't.
Yeah. You mentioned war movies. If let's say if you were to put yourself through watching Black Hawk Down, or like, you know, the first half hour of Saving Private Ryan, like what would that do to you?
It just gets me. It gets the adrenaline going, the cortisol going. Like I get sweaty, you get fucking shallow breathing, and like eyes dilate.
Like you feel like you're part of it.
Yeah. It's like I need to react, and I need to make. And some of that stuff too. Like, oh, that's wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it right. Like kind of that a little bit too. Yeah. So it's like that's just not healthy for me. So I'm not even gonna watch it.
Yeah. No, I'm trying.
Yeah. So they come out all the time. Oh, did you see this movie? You see that? I'm like, no.
No, I didn't.
Well, one, I probably was there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's bullshit, and that's not how it happened.
Or I know somebody was there. Yeah. It's like, no. But yeah, I just try to stay away from it.
Yeah. So the last couple of years you spent at Bud's Prep, it sounds like that was a really good transition and springboard.
Absolutely.
When you did finally decide to exit, how was it difficult or was it kind of like
not really? Because at this point I was away from away from the operational side of the guys. And it was harder on the family to move when we did, because the girls grew up in Virginia Beach. They knew Virginia Beach was home. Even though they're excited to move, it was tough on them. So working through that process, it took a year and a half to actually get to the point where they're with friends in school and everything, and back into a life. Yeah. So it was very easy to decide not to do that again to the family. Yeah. For a reason that if I'd have went back, I would have probably been an ops master chief and hopefully a team master chief for one of the SEAL teams. But the plus or the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze for family at that point, which was good because I had that time to reflect and make myself right and make the family right, and finish my degree and kind of see the bigger picture of where's my role. It's more a mentor, coach, or master chief kind of role, which I loved, but I wasn't ready to put the family back through another 3.5 years of deployments and workups and everything else.
You're so now the workout of the day or whatever is 1050s on 50 or some shit like that, right?
I wish I could swim like my kids do, but I sit there and watch them and tell them what they're doing wrong, but I can't do it myself anymore.
I do remember. So I swam too, just randomly. I remember that was one of the shittiest workouts. It was 50-50s on 50. That was the entire workout.
Yeah, 25.
It's fucking horrible. But
I do one. It's called Terrible Tuesdays. So they're doing 200s. Yeah, 200 pyramid, 200 height,
fucking horrible.
2200s or something. This is fucking stupid.
So I mean, swimming and wrestling are very, very paralleled that way, in that like they, it's basically a singular one person gig, and you gotta learn how to fucking dig deep to do it. You know? But,
absolutely. And we had a small team, so it's like everybody has to carry their weight.
Yeah. Did you move, or is your family where you grew up?
Yeah, we're in the same town. So,
is your wife from there?
No, she's from Ohio, but. Part of that reason I took that job too is we were looking at it when her dad was struggling with cancer, and he ultimately gave in. But get her back close to him and her mom, and
is that why she was willing to leave Virginia Beach at that point?
Yeah. I mean that's been tough on her too, because she had her friends from Virginia Beach she still talks to every day, and
that's good shit. So what when you did transfer out, how long ago was that?
So I retired in July of 18, so 2.5 years ago now.
And what has that transition been like? When you first got out, did you have shit lined up, or did you? I
had a couple things lined up, but surprisingly, it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. Yeah. Kind of hanging up, not just hanging up the guns and the armor and everything else, but kind of hanging up that like who I was for so long. I mean, my entire adult life was SEAL teams, right? So that culture, that family, and hanging that up and just being a family guy. Yeah. It was rough. The wife was like, just get out of the fucking house and go do something, because you're driving me crazy, you're messing up the system. Everything from that to what's my purpose now, because my purpose was do what the country needs me to do what my teammates need me to do, and then worry about myself and the family afterwards. Yeah. So then that completely shifted. Like, I don't really have to worry about the country, because I can't impact that too much. I can't impact the guys anymore, other than still do some training with them and share my experience as much as I can. So finding that new purpose and that new mission was tough. It was hard.
And what was that path like once?
Man, I bounced around a little bit, because I knew what I didn't want to do. So I was fortunate enough to do a program called TRACK. So Station Foundation and Commit Foundation put this on. It's a transition assistance for guys like us. So through that 2-week program, I realized that I can't sit in an office and do a 9-to-5 job. After 2.5 decades, I had to control my own time. Family first, myself first, control my own time. So I knew I was going to have to do something on my own. So I started a consulting company. So I'd consult with business leaders on teamwork and leadership, do some mentoring for sports programs, youth athletes kind of stuff, and then just work on the outdoor industry with friends that I've built over the years, and kind of help rep their company and all that good stuff, which social media fucking sucks.
That's tough.
For a guy like me, I'm not 20. I don't get it. It's like a battle to.
No, it's tough. I mean, I've been very fortunate in that I don't run mine. I mean, I get in there and interact with people in some occasions, messages and what have you when I can. But in terms of the content and the structure and all that, I know what I don't know, and for sure that's it.
Because I want to make it meaningful, right? If I'm going to put something, really, I mean, IG's about all I really deal with. But if I'm going to either put a personal post or help something for a company, there's got to be a message there. It can't just be fucking cool picture of a gun. Like, some of them are, but it's like, what's the story? What's the meaning?
There's got to be substance to it.
Substance to it. And not these. I'm not just a hot chick with a gun.
Yeah.
Get 1 million followers.
Yeah. What is that what you're doing now, or?
Yeah. So again, my mission is try to use my experiences to make everybody else's life better. What can I teach them from 2.5 decades of doing what we do to either impact their life, impact their family, start them into something they've maybe never even tried before.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my mission. So how that focuses and where that works is everything from, again, businesses and helping them develop their leadership program and teamwork development within their, yeah, you'll have to cut that out, but develop their team.
That's staying in, goddammit.
Develop their team within the company, all the way down to youth athletes and sharing experiences and what really matters and what needs to get worked up on and what really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Kind of the whole water under the bridge.
Yeah.
You can't fucking touch it. It's gone.
Yeah.
Focus on what you can learn and move on.
Yeah. No, I think that's fucking great. Any current or plans to teach shooting, or is that?
I do. I've been kind of doing, well, besides my military and law enforcement guys, I'll do some classes for them, but I've been doing more like one-on-one type classes lately for like word of mouth type stuff. But I did just have our local gun club. They're building a good pistol range, so we can.
Cool.
Yeah, I find that very rewarding for me to share that with people.
Yeah.
So I mean, shit, a lot of people, even our local police forces, they don't get the training they need.
Yeah.
Especially these days, and everybody wants to cut money away from them, and they don't.
Yeah.
So when you do have a situation, they don't know how to react. So trying to give back to the community and teaching my firefighters how to defend themselves, teaching women how to at least defend themselves safely.
Yeah.
I'm not teaching Krav Maga and any of that shit, but how do I use a gun and not hurt myself or anybody else?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. If there are departments, SWAT groups, military, whatever out there that want to enlist you to come train for them, with them, et cetera, how do they get a hold of you to do that?
Yeah, and probably just I can get you an email address and stuff. If I'd spell it out. It's TV Houin, Houin at iCloud.
Did I pronounce your name wrong?
Probably, man. Everybody did. I don't even bat an eye anymore when somebody tries to hit it. If they pause before it, I'd expect it to be messed up.
I sure as fuck did.
Yeah, hit that up or hit me on Messenger or something else. And
What is your I mean, if somebody wanted to get on Instagram to follow
on my
you,
gram, my IG, as the kids call it these days. So my IG is just Terry.Houin, so my name, TERY.HOUIN.
Okay,
and it's easy enough. And then we'll. I think it's the same on Facebook. I don't know. I just copy everything over.
But worst case, people can. Do you have a website or?
No, well, I'm building one. I don't have one rolled out yet.
Yeah, we'll stick.
I probably should.
Yeah, I mean, if people can, I mean, they can find you on Instagram and message you there. So we'll put
as much as I hate the gram, I'm on it every day.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing tool. I mean, just like with a lot of these
that's how you and I got together. Yeah. And I saw you on here, and I don't even remember what we reached out to originally. I think it might have been.
I think it was backpacks. Actually, it was actually the fucking brand that you're wearing on your hat.
Oh yeah, maybe that's
backpacks,
we found each other by the gram, and that's how I got to know Andy Vito from Half Face Blades.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Huh?
It's as much as I hate it for the stupid shit that's on there. It's great for guys like us to stay in touch, because I found the same guys I didn't even know.
Yeah, no, I mean, like with most things, it's a double-edged sword. There's a way to.
Well, it's great too. I mean, like one of my things is trying to help the veterans in transition, or if I can link up or do whatever I can. That's how I met Brandon, who's hosting us down here. He's just like, hey, I'm getting out and I'd like to get into the outdoor industry. Can you help me out? So I had half a dozen phone calls with him. At least share what I knew about it and who to avoid and who to call and. That's in that industry. It's big on who not to talk to or who not to trust. Yeah, but it's So all the veterans or even some of my bud students reach out and like, hey, would you put in a word? I want to come back. Those guys, I want to come back. And
that's cool.
Like, hey, have a conversation with them. Did you learn your lesson? Did you grow up? Did you mature?
Are you still a dipshit?
Yeah, but I mean, some of those guys got back to the program and graduated, and now they're in the teams.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's good. From that aspect, it's good to have that opportunity. Guys can reach out and ask questions. And
Yep, absolutely. Well, I got to tell you, man, it's a remarkable career you've had. I want to say thank you for your service.
I didn't realize how long it was until we started talking about it. Like, shit,
that's what she said.
I'm old.
Yeah, no, I know it. But there's a lot to go over, and it's worth going over, So I appreciate you coming on and being willing to share. I know a lot of it's hard to recall and to talk about, but to me, these are stories that are important to be remembered, to be told, and to be archived, so that next generations and years to come, people have access to what went down and what happened. So
yeah, it'd be good. I mean, I'll have my kids listen to it because they won't listen to me when I tell stories. So have them listen to this and get a different perspective on Pops.
Yeah, no, they'll be like, wait a minute, that's you?
Yeah,
you did that shit?
Well, the nice thing about the Instagram is like the little town we live in. Yeah. All the high school boys know exactly what I did for a living.
Yeah, they don't fuck with you.
So they don't fuck around.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At least they better not.
Yeah, goddamn it.
I'll get you guys.
Yeah. Well, it's been an honor having a convo.
Absolutely,
with you,
I'm glad we
were
able finally to make it work out.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for coming, and I appreciate it. Anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
So follow me on Instagram. Follow me. So I also work for Redcon One supplement company, kind of building out the outdoor brand. So if you like supplements and outdoors and working and guns and that kind of stuff, follow that Redcon One Outdoors. Yeah, and hit me up with questions.
Fucking rock and roll.
Yeah, I got no problem talking to people.
Yeah, amen. Well, I appreciate it again. Thank
absolutely.
You. I'd like to take a quick second to shout out and thank our sponsor for today's podcast, Origin Labs and Jocko Fuel. Jocko Fuel is a great product. He's got a ton of products actually within the Jocko Fuel line. The guests and I enjoy them on the show. And outside, I take a lot of the supplements. I've got some of the Origin Lab jeans, boots, gis, and it's just all around American industry. They do a fantastic job really re-revolutionizing American industry from start to finish. It's all American made, all American sourced. Everything start to finish is made right there in-house, and they really do a phenomenal job creating the products and fulfilling the whole ball of wax. They've been a huge supporter of the Mic Drop podcast for a while now, and I really can't thank Jocko Fuel and Origin Labs enough for the job that they do for us. And so thank you to you guys. I'd also like to say thank you to our other sponsor, Resilience Premium CBD. Resilience is excited to offer all Mic Drop listeners a 20% off discount on all products for 2 weeks from when this podcast is live using the discount code MICDROP at checkout. That's 2 words, MICDROP at checkout. I'd also like to say that Resilience is a great company that works in conjunction with Trico CBD, and all military veterans and first responders receive 35% off. Yes, that's 35% off for all military veterans and first responders, and that's through the Military and First Responders Program. You just have to sign up at resilientcbd.com/military first responders discount. In terms of about Resilience, generally speaking, it's a premium CBD that I use. Again, it works in conjunction with the Tricos brand for the everyday athlete. That's www.resilientcbd.com. And Resilience was really born with the founders who are military veterans as well, personally experienced the effects and impact that CBD had on their own mental and physical obstacles. Their focus was sharper, mental stress was calmed, fitness stamina increased, and their bodies felt less pain, inflammation after super intense workouts. A lot of times, most people and people are able to either wean off entirely or significantly reduce pain management therapy. This is a shared vision among the founders that this incredible supplement had not only changed their lives, but had the power to provide unbelievable benefits to family, friends, athletes, fellow veterans, and ultimately the entire fitness community. So big shout out to Resilience for their product as well as the Trico stuff. We sure appreciate their support. For you guys, the listeners, as always, I appreciate the hell out of you spending the time.
I'll look this way. You look that way, I'll look this way?
I'll look at yours and you look at mine.
You got a whole bunch of cameras here.
They come in handy. I want to say thank you as always. I know I always end the show with that, but again, without the incredible and overwhelming support that you guys continue to show, show after show, is absolutely nothing short of humbling. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to fine guys like Terry's story. Again, they should be told and heard and cherished, and learned from. So thank you to you guys. If you haven't choked yourself yet, you go ahead and choke yourself.
Time to choke.
And until next time, this is Mic Drop.